Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back to another Arch and Sargon, or Stamford Bridge, as I've taken to calling it now.
Whatever. It's too niche. No one will ever get it.
Irrespective of certain British people. See, I was thinking of like getting a proper intro made for this, because all of the cool kids have like lengthy and awesome intros, and here I am.
Jesus, do they?
Yeah, just starting, you know. What shall the intro be? At Arch and Sargon. God, that's terrible. At least Stamford Bridge, I could make something out of that.
Yeah, at least Stamford Bridge could have an animation of you getting stabbed in the crotch.
That's true, and it would be funny, kind of. I mean, we listen. The most popular shows from my youth are shit like Jackass, which was just basically people kicking each other in the crotch.
That is true. I always hated Jackass, though. I hated it.
It's an awful fucking show.
Yeah, and I hated it exactly for the reason that it was just people getting kicked in the crotch.
Jackass, in many ways, was outright socially corrosive in the worst way, but at the same time, looking back at it now, it's like, God, I wish our biggest problem was a bunch of uneducated twats hurting each other for money.
Yeah, that's entirely true, but I definitely saw it as a kind of aspect of social decline, even before I was political.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I was very contemptuous of it, and I was right to be so.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it was, in many ways, the initial absurdity of clickbaiting, too. Like, this was during the age of, like, bum fights.
Yeah, that I hate as well.
I mean, that was just criminal. Surely that must have.
Yeah. Hey, look, we're going to exploit these homeless people. Oh, good idea.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. God, I hated 2000s. They do look like a fucking golden age to now, so...
Yeah, that's the problem. Like, I was watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer recently, because I was thinking to myself, okay, I've been watching old school entertainment, I've been overjoyed at it every time, but Buffy can't be that good. It's a dumb show about a teenage girl hating vampires. It can't be that good. And I'm rewatching it, and I was like, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
This has no right to be as fun as it is.
Yep. And that was always the thing with Buffy anyway. Like, I loved Buffy. Because it was just interesting and it was well written. And yeah, it was kind of woke for its time, blah, blah, blah. But it was still actually good. And you could tell, like, the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie was kind of schlocky and it was fine, but it wasn't really that interesting. And Joss Whedon made something that had no right to be as good as it was. And then it carried on and he just kept developing the characters. So, like, Spike became, you know, like, kind of a comic relief, like, returning villain to a major emotional pillar of the show.
Yeah.
To the point where when he's trying to rape Buffy on the bathroom floor and everyone's like, fucking hell, this is intense. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, what is happening here? You know? Like, it was weighty, genuinely weighty.
It has some really interesting little story elements that you wouldn't think would be coming out of a show like that.
No, not even slightly. So, yeah, Buffy really had no right to be as good as it was and is still completely watchable today.
Yeah. And even just, like, the characters, too. Like, how... Oh, my God. Everyone's pretty?
Yeah. Yeah.
How did this happen? How did we lose all of the pretty people? How are there no more pretty people in entertainment?
Great question. Well, I don't have a ready answer for, but I'm guessing it's woke mutants took over. And we're like, yeah, we need everyone to be ugly because we're ugly and we're jealous.
Like, it's a running joke. Like, oh, Willow's not very pretty in the first seasons. And there's one...
Ignorant slut.
Exactly, there's one episode where she dresses up in, like, a miniskirt and leather jacket. She's fucking... Her body is amazing.
And it's not like she's not a good-looking woman anyway. Come on.
No, like, she's fit as a supermodel. And it's like, oh, yes, this is a very mediocre woman. Jesus.
God willing, we'll all get a good mid like that, you know?
Exactly. Even Xander gets bullied. Like, Xander, you're just not that attractive. One episode, he takes his shirt off and he's fucking ripped. And like, God, okay, well,
The one where Cordelia sees him in the swimming pool is genuinely a great episode.
Yes.
Genuinely hilarious. But yeah, like Xander is a perfectly good-looking lad, and like everyone in it is good-looking, and it's like it makes everything more pleasant to watch. Really, I don't want to look at ugly people. I see enough of those in my daily life when I look in the fucking mirror. Give me a break.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, we need fat representation. Bro, I am fat. Fuck off. I am my own representation. I'm trying to diet. Shut up. Leave me alone.
It's absurd. It's genuinely insane.
I hate it so much.
You ignorant slut.
Just let me be fat in peace. Don't need to see myself on the screen.
Yeah, no, unironically, okay, and it's escapism. It's escapism. Oh god, it genuinely kind of hurts a little bit to see the show be like, oh, Xander, you're a pathetic loser in high school. This jacked fucking dude, chiseled like man, like, oh god.
Yeah, he's funny and he's good looking. Oh yeah, what a loser.
Surrounded by women 24/7.
Surrounded by babes, and it's what a fucking loser.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to be like Xander, like fucking
complete loser in high school. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing was really good and really entertaining, frankly.
It was. I am surprised by how much I'm liking it.
Yeah. I did the same with X-Files a little while ago. I'm like, yeah, this is still really watchable. The only problem I had with it is it kind of launders the reputation of the FBI.
Yes. Right. That was a slight side tangent aside. Astartes. So they did put out a thing here. Some interesting little thing, because I was watching it the other day, and I thought I recognized a lot of it. It's mostly reused footage from the stuff he used to do, tease, more correctly, before GW put a gun to his head and like, you work for us now. Right.
Because for anyone who's not aware, something like 4 years ago now, something like that, GW basically came around like a mafia don and just started saying, no, everyone who's producing 40K media of any kind, even if it's satirical, and they could have challenged it in court, Emperor's text-to-speech device, you could easily have challenged that in court and won. They basically put a gun to their head and said, you don't do this anymore. And Astartes was one of those things.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. Like, they literally just went around one of the most vibrant fan creation communities on the internet in total and just forced them all into basements.
In particular, the Emperor's text-to-speech device really irked me. I wasn't like a massive fan of the series or anything. I had watched, some of the episodes. I'm not saying they weren't funny, but it was like, for me, it was a kind of gag that I only needed to watch a few of the episodes to enjoy. But loads of people really enjoyed it, right? Loads of people really enjoyed it. It had a really, really big audience. And it's like, okay, great, good. I'm glad they're having fun with the thing they like. I think long may they continue, right? And then Games Workshop sent him a cease and desist.
I have lost. Shit.
This is just a dude on his own who's messing around with his little Warhammer cutouts on his computer, right? Put him onto YouTube, and people are like, ha ha ha, that's really funny. He doesn't know anything about the legality of these things, surely, blah, blah, blah. And GW sending him a cease and desist, that was totally just bully tactics, because the law is completely behind him. Completely behind him. Everything that he was doing was not only not just ripping off their content, right? It was by nature transformative, and it was very clearly satire and parody.
Shit.
So he would have won. He probably would have won money from GW, frankly, right? If they'd taken him to court over it. And I have some experience in this realm, so I actually know these laws fairly well. In Britain or the United States, this guy would easily have won that case because the laws are not terribly dissimilar. And what he was doing was very, very self-evidently parody. And so he should have just fought it. He says, no, I'm going to do it, actually. Fuck you. Sue me if you like. I'll see you in court.
Yep. And sadly, again, GW got away with that.
Yeah, they did. And it was totally, it's just such a bully tactic. But it was totally unnecessary and frankly not legal, Like, again, he would have won it in a civil court.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but to be fair, in his defense, nobody else stood up either.
No, but I mean, there's one thing like the Astartes guy. It's like, what are you doing? Well, I'm making a living making shorts of 40k without the permission to use the license, right? That's
Oh
different.
yeah.
You know, that's like, oh right, so you're just, you know, you've got your Patreon, you're making money, you make these animated shorts, people give you money to make this. This is an infringement of their intellectual property, right?
Yeah.
Yep, that's actually a really strong case from GW. Fair enough. But the fair use laws explicitly protect satire, and that is explicitly what the Emperor's text-to-speech device was.
Yes.
There's simply not a court in the land that wouldn't have fucking sided with him. And so he should have just been like, you know, no, I'm going to get money off of you for this, GW. You're going to pay all my fees, and you'll probably give me a nice payout for wasting my time.
Yep, he had the strongest case by far.
Yeah, there was. I mean, it wasn't even like the strongest case. It was just that's what he was doing, right? It's just so obviously what he was doing, and there's no question of it.
And hello, Rosa. I see you in the chat there. Old friend Snake. Yeah, no. And of course, this allowed them to coup the entire fan animation market, and all they produced out of it was Warhammer Plus, Hammer and Bolter, which is mediocre at best, and a handful of 3D shows they produced were mediocre at best too, with the exception of literally the Astartes guys' cutscenes.
I mean, the fact that they had no cultural impact should tell you everything, GW.
And the fact that the community are, most of them hate it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no realm in which that should be the case. There should be no possibility of monthly Warhammer 40k animations being roundly disliked by the 40k community.
Yeah, and it's so weird that GW would take this approach to their own community. It's like, look, these are your ambassadors. These people for free are advertising for you.
Yeah, it was a baffling decision, but...
Yeah, it's really baffling.
They probably just did it because this is one of the things that has happened over the last 10, 20 years, where all of the companies have grown unfathomably insular because they all they guard their pie, my pie, my pie.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, we used to be far more open about sharing that pie. There were Star Wars references in 40k. There were Warhammer Lord of the Rings references.
Yep.
Even rewatching Buffy now, there's so many pop culture references where they just mention songs and movies just casually.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be a friendly degree of we're all doing the same thing. Of course you can mention our stuff. Nobody's going to get, ornery about any of this.
I mean, what would you even say?
Exactly.
What would be the objection? It's just impossible to fathom it.
Whereas now, every company is so incredibly defensive about their piece of the pie. No, this is mine. My fans don't get to play with it.
Yeah, no, it's really what it is. And again, these people are just your ambassadors. These people are selling your product for you for free and making a living doing it. Why do you think you should cut into that? Your products, it's not like Games Workshop was suffering.
Nope.
We've got this huge fan community and we've got record sales. What are we going to do about it, guys? What do you mean, what are we going to do about it? Why would we do anything about the best situation we could be in? Why would we change that?
And it's just, it's petty shit. When Blizzard attempted a few years ago to sue the guy who made Dota.
Right.
Because he made that, of course, as a mod for World of Warcraft 3 to begin with, because they had an excellent mod engine.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you made that in our thing, so we own that now. It's like, no.
That's not how it works, right?
That is not how it works. And so they introduced new rules in the updated mod editor, where it's like, no, we own everything you make. We own the IP to everything. And guess what happened? Nobody made anything.
Oh, really? Who could have predicted that? No way. I'm so shocked. Fucking hell, these short-sighted, spiteful little shit, honestly.
Yeah, no, spiteful is exactly the word.
What is wrong with these people? Anyway, so on to Astartes.
Yes, back to Astartes. So they make it here too. This teaser trailer is not actually clips from the new animation, mind you, as well. All of this is old stuff that we see in the teaser trailer.
Yeah.
Which is one of the little, thingies there. That will show characters that will be featured in the animation that will be coming in 2026. So it's a while off, but I mean, shit like this, it probably takes a month just to render this.
Yeah, so this is very interesting. So on The Pondering, which is my little gaming channel, I put up a video yesterday because I was just like, oh shit, new Astartes. What we saw was very clearly done by the guy who made Astartes, and you can tell by the style, right? And it's not even the look of the thing, although the look it is important. It's the motion of the thing, right? The guy makes these things move in a particular way, and once you watch it, like, oh yeah, this guy definitely did these things, right? So it looked like what they were saying was, we've brought him back, he's made some new stuff, and it's going to be great. And I was fucking genuinely excited. Then some people were like, yeah, maybe you should read that a bit closer. And so I did. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. Because, I mean, look at that scene there, right?
Yeah.
That scene there, very Astartes, right? Very much that guy's work. And then some people were like, yeah, look what they've actually said on the thing. And so I looked a bit closer. And then it's like, well, these aren't actually scenes from the show that he's making, or we're making. These are, the backstories or whatever it is of the characters that will feature in it. And it's like, okay. So what you're saying is this is not footage from the thing, and you're probably going to get someone else to do it, which means it's not going to be nearly as good as what we had before.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that also kind of warned me off was this shot right here. Because that is not a Thunderhawk. That is a Fire Raptor. Fire Raptors belong in 30k. And Games Workshop has actually been very ornery about this, where, now that they've got like a 30k game system as well.
Yeah. They've got Horus Heresy. And that's another thing as well. In the clip, a bunch of people were pointing out, like, hang on a second, there's none of the Primaris stuff in this. There's no floating stuff. There's the old Dreadnought, the old Predator. And it didn't quite click when I first had a look at it. I was like, oh, yeah, shit, that's a great point. They wouldn't do that. What is this about? And so you can tell this is not something they've signed off on. And I wonder if that's not what essentially was the creative difference he had with them, where they're like, no, it's got to be Primaris and it's got to be all the new gay floaty stuff. And he was like, yeah, but I want Predators and Mark 7.
Yeah, because looking closer... again, I watched this the first time, and I swear I had seen this before. It's because I had. I was on his Patreon for a while because he did amazing work.
Yeah.
And this is teasers he had released previously. And there's also this here. We have a Mortifactor Space Marine. This used to be a Lamenter in the old trailers. And the Mortifactors are a bit of a interesting thing too.
Well, I don't know anything about them, so.
But to return to the Primaris one too, because that I think is like the most sticking point here. The Primaris, because GW only does Primaris now. Does Primaris now. That's all they do, right?
For some reason.
Yes, well, it's because they want to resell you the fucking Space Marine line again. That's why.
Yeah, I know. But you could do that and do other things, and I'd probably end up buying both. But never mind, carry on.
So the lack of Primaris, at first I was like, yes, no Primaris, this is gonna rock. But then, over the days, just like you, I was like, hold on. Why are they doing that? Why is it only old footage and no Primaris?
Yeah.
And this leads me to the Mortifactor. There's an interesting little fact about the Mortifactors here, you see. Can you guess what it is?
Oh, well, I don't know. No.
The interesting little fact about the Mortifactors, and I admit this is a slight reach, but they're all black.
What, the characters in 40k are all black?
Yes, the Mortifactors are a black-skinned chapter.
Okay.
So they took Elementa, which is a subset of the Blood Angels, the whitest of white space marines.
Right.
And afterwards, they reskinned him to a Mortifactor.
Right. I mean, I don't have any problem with them having factions that are all black, all white, all Asian, whatever, that's fine. But why did they choose this one now?
Why did they choose this one? Because that's the thing too. I love the Mortifactors as well, because the Mortifactors are actually really cool. They're a chapter of cannibalist space marines that I've done a lore video on.
Oh, that's very politically correct.
Indeed.
Well done, GW. We got a black space marine chapter. Oh yeah, what they're like? Well, they're cannibals.
You ignorant.
Yeah, no,
slut.
part of me, see, this is my conspiracy theory, is GW went into their archives like, okay, do we have any black space marines? And they're like, salamanders? No, we can't have those. Why? Because they were mutated by the sun to be black. Somebody
they're not
raises a
African.
hand.
Yeah. But I mean, like, hang on. How do you think that Africans got black skin, GW?
I know.
Just out of interest.
This remains my favorite quote from a woke piece about 40k. Well, somebody literally described the salamanders having been mutated by the sun. It's like, yes, correct.
Yeah, that's what black skin is.
Yes.
I mean, if you want, we can frame it that white people have also been mutated by a lack of sun.
Yes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, none of this is like edgy or racist. This is literally the scientific evolutionary theory of why there are different skin tones.
Yes, this is what happened. Literally, that is what happened. The human body was like, the sun is beating down on me. I got to block out some of these rays.
Yeah, that's literally the purpose of melanin.
Yeah. Then we moved further north and it's like, wow, I'm not absorbing anywhere near enough energy from the sun. I got to lighten up.
Yeah, I mean, literally, one of the problems that dark-skinned people have when they come to the north is a lack of vitamin D production because the sun is just not as strong here.
Yeah.
And again, this is just scientific fact. Like there are adverts in like African papers and stuff that tell people if you go to Europe, you have to buy vitamin D tablets.
Yeah. I mean, up here in Norway, the problem is so pronounced that we actually work vitamin D into our food as just a regular thing, because otherwise we would be unhealthy.
Yeah, interesting. So yeah, it's just literally science, dare I say it? It's just normal.
Reality, yes.
Yeah, it's just, So anyway, so we can't have black people who are made black by the sun. They have to have been, cursed by Cain or as by God to become Cain or something? I don't know. And
that was the thing. So somebody in the GW studio then raised their hands like, we have a black chapter, but no, just add them in there. Like, but sir, hold on a moment. No, they're black, right? Yeah, add them in.
Good enough.
Okay, let's not talk about the whole eating people thing.
Back when GW was allowed to do naughty things.
Indeed. Like, the Mortifactors are a great chapter because they are quite grimdark and I enjoy them a lot. But I feel like this was GW again not quite remembering their own lore and just being like, okay, we gotta have a black guy in there somewhere, and they picked the chapter without really remembering. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. And I'm with you on this. That's a cool sounding chapter. I'm in favor of a cannibal space marine chapter. That's cool. Like there's a lot you could do with that chapter, and very little of it's good. So sign me up. And of course, the rest of the trail, like the shot of the guy flying down the hallway of ice, is just, oh god, so good. Yeah. The whole thing is, you can tell it's this dude. All of the motion, you can tell it's this dude. Yeah, and I also love the fact that he picks smaller chapters, like the Size of the Emperor, my favorite chapter like ever. I adore them, and this is clearly their final stand because the Size of the Emperor were basically wiped out during the invasion of the Tyranids into the Ultramarines worlds of Ultramar. Right. Okay. So this was clearly intended by him, probably, to be an awesome last stand style short animation showing the fall of the Emperor's sides to the overwhelming number of the Tyranids, like a real tearjerker kind of show, See, I'd never even heard of them, so they were very minor. He's got the Nova Marines here, who are fighting Tau. Like, that's awesome. We've got the Redeemers, of course, his original chapter. And
Isn't
just...
Redemptors. Or,
Redemptors?
Retributors.
Retributor, that was the one, yeah.
Yeah, which is fine. I'm happy with that.
Again, just the style. God, that looks so good.
Yeah, it does.
But now that you've brought up the specter of they're probably not even going to have him do it, now I'm just a little bit sad too.
Well, me too. And it's like, I just don't understand the philosophy. It's like GW's like, well, he won't do Primaris, then he doesn't do Primaris, GW.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Get over it. Get the fuck over it. You know, like, I'm sure that, I mean, there must be some accord you can come to with him. And at the end of the day, it'd be better to have this as the old-fashioned... It is Mark 8, isn't it? Mark 8 power armor.
Something along those lines, yes. Finnish names.
Yeah, whichever it is. But the point is, the reason that this is the best power armor is because it looks like they're scowling, right?
Yes.
All the Space Marines look like they've got a fucking scowl, and they look serious. And that makes them look badass. That makes them look fucking bosses. Let him do it. Just let the man cook, GW. For fuck's sake.
Oh, chat is calling me out. Yes, I am. Yes, no, you're right, chat. Sons of Medusa, not Nova Marines. I get confused by the little haloed skull.
Okay, well, I don't know, so I just play the fucking games and paint the models.
Hopefully, because they're talking about how these are the characters they're going to show. Hopefully, they just like are going to let him finish basically what he was already working on before they shut him down.
I mean, that'd be good.
And so then at least we will get like Astartes II. As that's got to be what they're doing, sure. Because if they release Astartes II and it's not this guy,
wow, that's the worry, isn't it? So can we bring up the Astartes I episode? Quickly?
It's not available anywhere anymore. I think.
Yeah. The full thing is on YouTube somewhere.
Let's
You
see if
just
I can
Google
find it.
Astartes full. You'll find it on YouTube. So I watch it fairly regularly.
Let's see. All right, there's a bunch like
I have
re-uploads basically.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can. Is this? Yeah, this looks like the one.
Yeah. Right. So no, that's fine. Do it in midway in the action, right? Yeah. So about here. Yeah. Right. So we can just, or a bit earlier on, where they first storm the spaceship.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So what one thing to notice with the way that the Space Marines move, and I've thought about this a lot. You know, why does this look so good? And the reason is economy of motion. Right. The Space Marines are never doing anything unnecessary to what it is they're trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get these things, whatever's in front of them, killed as quickly and efficiently as possible. They're not doing fancy swirls and like swishing around and, you know, diving
Nobody's
off of...
spinning.
Yeah, no spinning kicks or stupid shit like that. They're just getting these things killed in the first fucking shot. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, you're all dead. Right, moving on. You know, they've got a mission and they're just getting it done ASAP. And all of their fighting is like this. All of it is like this throughout the whole thing. And so it just gives you this wonderful sense of professionalism, right? These guys are just here to do the job, and they are unbelievably good at it. They don't care about looking fancy, you know. They don't. None of it is about. Again, this is the problem with the secret level episode, right? There was a lot of like fancy swinging around of axes and swords and stuff like this, like decapitating people and jumping onto things and shit like that. It's like, yeah, this is not economy of motion, right? So the people who made that had not really paid attention to his design philosophy when animating the Space Marines. And this is why I enjoyed the secret level episode, and I enjoyed it more for the psychology of it rather than the actual fighting of it. But with the Astartes, I enjoyed the fighting, right? The watching the Marines in action was just a genuine pleasure. And this bit here, boom, one arm swing, right? He literally just glanced over his shoulder, stabs with a knife. That's it, job done. You know, I've barely moved. I am casually walking down this corridor, and I'm just about to open up on everyone in there, and suddenly, bam, 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 right? So what does he do? Does he like leap off the wall? Does he, does he like, no, he just swings around back the side, right? Okay, I'll pull out the fucking plasma pistol. One shot, bam, popped.
Yep.
Job done. Moving on. You know, it's like this is what truly legendary warriors would actually be like, right? Like people who are like, no, you guys, I've killed a million things. You guys are no different, and I'm literally just here to do the job, get on with it as quickly as possible, you know? And like I said, everything about Astartes is economy of motion. You know, the smoothest, swiftest kills. You know, the idea that they'd be like leaping on things is really alien. If I've got to leap on something and I'm using a lot of energy that I expected to conserve until the very end of this fight, because I don't know what I'm coming up against next, right? So wasting energy is a waste of time, and it's a risk. It's a big risk. It's not tactically sound. And that's the thing. Everything about these stars is tactically sound. But if you look at the secret level fighting, it's like Hollywood wide slashing fighting, you know, where they're swinging their arms and they're spinning around and pirouetting, and like, you know, this guy's like slashing cultists with a giant axe. It's like, what the fuck is this, man? These cultists are unarmored. You can pop their skulls with your fist. Why would you take a big swing when literally just reaching out and squeezing will do the job? Like, yeah. So what that means to me is that the secret level thing was just bog standard Hollywood action animation with a Warhammer skin, right? And they got the Astartes guy to do like the level design or something. And it's like, wow, what a fucking... This is literally like fucking Antiochus saying, Hannibal, why don't you control the Navy? It's like, why would you let... What? Why? Well, I'm controlling the army. It's like, yeah, but you're shit. And this guy is a legend. Why not give him the army? You control the Navy, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, why wouldn't you take advantage of what you actually have in front of you? And for some reason, they're not. And it's just like, okay, I don't get this.
Yeah, like the whole thing with the Astartes artist thing is just a confusing mess.
Yeah.
There's still, I've heard rumors now of both sides that he's still working at GW's. Others say that he's a subcontractor.
Yeah.
There seems to be no clarity even around that. And he's created his own studio now as well, which is the one that did this, the Digital Bones thing.
Hmm.
Now, I can't look at the other, like, I can probably show some stills from it, because this includes pieces of his new stuff, like his own stuff as well.
Yeah. I watched this yesterday today, actually, I think, to get a feel for what he was doing when I was preparing for my video. And this basically feels like Dune, which is cool. I like Dune, you know, so that's good. Like, again, sort of and everything he does has gravitas, right?
Yes.
He tells his story through motion, and it's so good. But yeah, this was good. This was, you know, it was interesting, but yeah, I had no relevant sort of points that I could say, oh, I know what that is, you know? So it's just completely alien.
Yeah. It's also that he clearly has the same problem as a lot of artists who have grown up being very fond of one thing, that he has probably taken on a pinch too much inspiration from the thing that he was very fond of.
He clearly wants to be making Warhammer.
Yes. And in any sane world, GW would throw their arms out and go like, "You'll do this for free? Holy shit!"
Yeah. No, they really would. They really would. Like, okay, they'd email and be like, "When's the next Astartes installation coming out?" You know, like, why? What's the holdup?
Yeah, like in any normal world, they would reach out to him and be like, "Oh Jesus, this is amazing. How can we help?"
Yeah. Literally, it's so bizarre how Games Workshop can fumble their own property so hard. It's like, God, if someone had done this of something I'd made, I'd be like, dude, this is awesome. Do more.
Yeah, do more.
Like, anyone would. I
mean, hell, even if you want to be a bit greedy about it, go like, okay, you're making one of our things, you know, we've got to technically give you our blessing. Here's the deal. We'll give you a contract. We'll take like 10% of your ad revenue. There you go. Done deal. Go ahead.
Or just say, look, we'll give you the budget to make it for us. You know, you can still, I mean, I'd still give him creative freedom. Why wouldn't you? Look at it. Look at what he's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
So annoying.
So there's our slight misgivings about Astartes II as well. And
yeah.
I mean, I think at least these will probably be good, because I think what they're doing is just allowing him to finish the products that they made him stop making.
I mean, hopefully, fingers crossed, that that is what's happening. But again, with GW, you just don't know.
You just don't know.
Because I mean, it's just as likely GW have paid him like 20 grand or something and said, look, just endorse this, right? Endorse Astartes II. We're gonna advertise it using the footage that you'd made, and we're gonna make it ourselves in house. So we'll just give you 20K, you endorse it, and everyone walks away a winner. You know.
Yep, and we're going to be very circumspect, and we're not really going to, mention who's making this, etc.
Yep. Yep. And so there's enough there that they can say, well, look, we never said he was making it.
Yeah, because what they're saying is the Warhammer Studio and the creator of the original artist, Seema, have been working closely together.
Yes. But we didn't say he made it. We said he was working closely with us. He was consulting, is basically what they can then turn around and say.
Yeah.
And in all reality, that's basically what they've said there. Yeah, we worked closely because he was a consultant. He sent us emails. We said, thanks for your opinion.
Yep. I mean, this is kind of what they did with the War for the Rohirrim, Lord of the Rings anime, where they were like, oh yeah, no, like we've got like Peter Jackson on board and stuff. And by on board, they meant they talked to him once.
Incredible. Well done, GW.
At the same time, though, like, if they release Astartes 2, and it's not this, it's a completely different animation style, but with these characters, the fucking outcry from the fans.
I think what it's going to be is it's going to be basically Secret Level Part 2, right? So it will look okay, and for the sort of Funko Pop collecting demographic, they'll look at it and go, bruh, it's Warhammer, it's animated. Look at them swishing around and doing backflips over fucking tanks and stuff. Bruh, this is, and Smana Peterson was involved. Bruh, this is exactly Astartes 2. And anyone with any discernment and taste will say, yeah, but look at the way they're moving. Like, it doesn't give me the same vibes as Astartes because it isn't actually done by the Astartes guy. And so it isn't really Astartes 2. And we will forever have to explain to the fucking low IQ Funko Pop lovers that, your Joy Toy is not a Warhammer miniature.
Oh, God. And there's such a wider conversation there, too. And tabletop in general, right?
I know.
Because of the popularity of it. Like, all right, let me take a shot at Critical Role real quick here.
Go on.
So Critical Role is, of course, ridiculously popular. They've done fantastically well for themselves, and good on them. But my God, they are at fault for so much that is wrong with tabletop gaming. Because they have created it in such a format where you don't really need to play role-playing games. You don't need to play tabletop games. Or have any idea what's going on to say that you are a fan of it now? They have widened the definition of the casual consumer to the point where anyone is now like, oh yeah, no, I'm totally into D&D, my guy.
I'm clutching my Space Marine Funko Pop and I'm a fan.
Yes, exactly.
Fuck off, I hate it.
The enormous broadening of the fan base. Like, I don't want to be so insular to refer back to like the ages of anime where people were trading VHS tapes and secret dungeons and stuff, but fuck, general popularity is not a good thing. It brings in so many people who don't give a fuck and who are only there because like, oh, this is a cool thing now.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, do they really spend that much money on it? It's like, you'd be like, yeah, but look, I'm going to make like, I've got like, 5 million people who are going to spend $5. It's like, great. Once. They're going to spend $5 once. I've been spending, I don't know how much money I've spent over the years on 40K, man. I'm currently, as we talk, I'm currently painting an Ahriman of the Thousand Suns, right? I don't know how many, over the decades, how much I have fucking spent on Warhammer. I dread to think. I dread to fucking think. They've got so many fans who are like that, who are their core audience, who have literally made Warhammer what it is today, and yet they can't find any loyalty to them. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had to buy new bookshelves to fit all the goddamn books I bought at 40K. I have created literally thousands of hours of 40K content.
Yeah. And then they threaten to sue
You ignorant.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, GW. I was only a brand ambassador for free.
And it's because they've seen the opportunity to replace us. That is what's happening at the end of the day. This happened in D&D. It happened in Magic the Gathering. It's happening right now in 40K. They look at us and they go, ew, those dirty white nationalist gamers. Racist, all of them. We gotta replace them with a new and progressive audience.
Chuds. You're just chuds.
Chuds, yes. And things like Critical Role, who is successful, by the way, for a completely different reason. Critical Role is not successful because of D&D. It's successful because of the people that have come together to create it.
See, I just want to be clear, right? Full disclosure, I have no idea who Critical Role is.
Good. But
I don't know what they do either, so I assume they make D&D content by the way you're talking about them, though.
They do. But these are not actually your audience, though. That's the thing. This is not actually D&D's audience. This is Critical Role's audience. D&D has become an accessory to Critical Role.
Yeah.
And then they'll simply just purchase a little miniature here and there or a bag of dice so they can claim the street cred.
I can't believe that street cred to be claimed in D&D.
Well, that's the problem. Like... When this was a hobby in our childhood, you get bullied for this shit. Now this is popular.
Dude, I remember playing my first game of D&D when I was 13 years old with the older kids in the year above. It was Dark Sun, and I was a Minotaur, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I had a fucking amazing time.
Uh-huh. This was our thing, and we wanted to share it with everybody because it was a really cool thing. That was a terrible mistake.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I actually never wanted to share with everyone. Like, the people I knew, like my friend group, were all into it, you know. So we never tried to proselytize. In fact, I literally had no interest in explaining it to normies. I remember being like, you're not smart enough to understand it. Go and watch Coronation Street.
Fire is the answer.
If only more of us had adopted that line of reasoning.
Yeah. Like, unironically, right, as well, I'm not even being, like, elitist. For anyone who doesn't know 2nd edition D&D, just Google it and see if you can work out in about 10 minutes how the armor system works, how armor class works in 2nd edition D&D. How THACO works.
Oh, THACO, God help me.
It was genuinely a useful barrier to entry. It was a filter mechanism. Like, yeah, no, it's not just positive numbers, right? No, the lower the armor class, the better. And THACO itself was just deeply confusing, and I can't even remember how it's supposed to work now. But it was a genuine gatekeeping mechanism. Idiots and people who are like fair weather friends, they don't get access because it's just too complicated.
Yeah, no, and it was inherently like dumb because the lower the armor class you had, the better.
Yeah. It was a really silly mechanism when you think about it, but it had the necessary effect of making it quite an elite game. You had to be intelligent to be able to play D&D.
Yeah. Whereas now, don't worry about it.
Yeah, now it's for thickos.
All right, let me catch up on a few of the thickos in chat and their super
They're
chats
not
as well.
thickos. I don't doubt that our audience is well aware of how THACO works. Or if they're not because they're too young, they could master it. Our audience is perfectly capable.
You can't say that to them.
I can.
They'll get full of themselves and then they'll...
That's fine. Arch, come on, man, right? They are exactly the kind of people we are who are literally able to get through the shibboleths and overcome the puzzles and find us on the internet, right? Like, we don't have Coronation Street watchers in our chat. You know, we don't have the regular fucking plebeians. The people who watch us are elite, which is why they're here.
That is true. However, you're not the one who has to deal with the consequence of them getting heady egos. I am. And when they start thinking they're in charge, they make me do things like My Little Pony Smasher Pass streams.
Challenge your heady ego.
That is exactly what they do in the little shits.
I know that's the problem you have with them. Yeah, I know. But the point is, what I'm saying though, right? No matter what you say, what I'm saying is actually true as well. That's the thing. Like, it's actually true that our audience is going to be smarter than the average. Like, what was that D&D stream thing called?
Oh, the Critical Role people. Oh
Yeah. Our audience is definitely, if we were to IQ test a random sample of 100 of ours versus 100 of theirs, our guys are going to win.
Yes, that's the problem. They're conniving little bastards.
They are. That's true. But well done, chat, for being clever.
Conniving little shits.
Also, I do want to set up that 100 versus 100 IQ test. Come on, Chuds, we can do this.
Sometimes the intellectual mind wanders in dark places, then I'll say. Let's see here. And 71 hero, I'm presuming that means to spell anti-hero. Arch, I've recognized you're shitting a lot on Molyneux lately. Oh, I'm not shitting on him. I am praising him.
So which Molyneux is this?
The gaming Molyneux.
What, Peter Molyneux?
I used to watch his stuff years ago when he did... yes, there's a confusion here, yes. Not Stefan, Peter.
Yeah, Peter Molyneux. There's in the guy from Bullfrog, right?
Yes.
I used to love that guy, man.
Everybody did, because he perfected the art of screwing you and making you feel good about it.
So I've always been an apologist for him because, I remember like the lead up to Black and White, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed Black and White. Obviously, the AI was not as good as he wanted it to be, but it wasn't bad, His problem was always that he was a big dreamer, right? And so he was like, look, it would be so cool if we could have these things. And it's like, yeah, it would be. But you are making games in the 1990s and early 2000s when technology just isn't there, right? So he's now, I bet you could do great things with AI, right? I bet you could get the AI to do exactly what we wanted in Black and White. Like, why not make a Black and White 3? Like, now is the time to get AI to fucking power Black and White 3. Now is the time.
Oh, it's because he doesn't really care. That's the thing. I swear to God, Peter Molyneux played us all for fucking fools. He started making NFT games and shit like that, earned millions, and then just fled. He was just a highly successful con artist, in my opinion.
I hope that's not true. The thing is, he made some great games. Like Dungeon Keeper was a great game.
Yeah, pure accident, and or his crew.
Populous was great. Populous 2, great games. Black and White, great games. I don't believe that a con artist can be so continuously accidentally successful.
He's the Paul Verhoeven of gaming, okay?
No way.
Yes way. Lionhead Studios was great, because you've got testimonials from the people working there. And usually when Molyneux entered the room, he's like, I have an idea. Everyone would just sigh heavily, like, oh God. Here comes another harebrained fucking mechanic we'll have no chance of implementing.
Yeah, but I like that attitude. I like that sort of like inspirational. Like look, we'll shoot for the stars. We won't quite get there, but we'll get something good out of it.
I have lost.
That resulted in a Black and White 2 as often as it did a 1, though.
Sure, but that's life, you take these risks. You have to accept the good with the bad.
I don't know.
I like dreamers. I'm for them, doing crazy things, and then, we'll see what we get at the end of it. You know what I mean? I'm for that.
Like, somebody like Molyneux could only exist if there's a system of more capable people underneath him that can take his batshit insane ideas and at least try to make them real. To
be honest with you, it's more that there's someone above him that's more sane than him, is how it works. So give him the resources that you've got available and give him like an instruction. It's like, do this thing and just this thing, and maybe you'll get what he's trying for, Let him in charge of a project and you've probably got a problem.
I don't know. I think our opinions on Molyneux differ severely.
I'm a lot more generous.
A lot more easy, I'd say.
Well, like I said, I respect the aspirational side of it, because like Fable wasn't bad either. It wasn't my kind of game, but a lot of people really like Fable. You know, it's I don't think he's a con artist. I just think he's just wishes that he was born about 10 years later, basically.
Well, I too have deeper admiration for the pickpocket working in the upper class neighborhood than the lower ones. However, I must still condemn the core purpose here.
I think you're being way too harsh. Chat, let me know what you think about this. I think we're being far too unkind to a misunderstood genius.
We shall poll the chat. I'll keep them occupied for a moment or two. I think I misspelled genius, but that's normal.
I mean, I don't think I actually did. I did call him a genius.
You did. No takesy backsies.
Maybe not
Heresy's
quite
the
genius, but
Fire is the answer.
I like those people who've got big ideas. I like those. We need more of those.
Maleficus Shaikan, are we tired of winning yet? Not yet.
Oh God, no.
I mean, the last week of Trump has been fun, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Covered it on the covered just some of what you'd done on the podcast today, and it's just like this is like a decade's worth of stuff, you know, that he's already done, and it's been a week and a half, if that.
Yep. The only problem is it's executive orders, which means that the next guy in office could potentially wipe it all out in just as short a time.
Sure. I mean, the only substantive thing is the Lake and Riley Act, but that was pretty good in itself. So, good Trump.
Mm-hmm. Now he needs to spend the next 4 years solidifying this stuff and getting it put into actual law.
Yeah. He should just start legislating like a demon. You've got the House and the Senate. Just get on with it. Just get on with it.
You've got
Every
2
day.
years to fucking push through everything.
Yeah, just crack on, bro.
Reverend Norse, for an intro, use the Ved Stanford Brua, the intro song, old Norwegian song about how evil Saxons attacked us at the bridge before we had time to the Donarama.
Oh, us poor Norwegian rapists never get a break.
They won, but was too weak to fight William after.
No, it wasn't even that. It was fucking Harold's overconfidence. Should have just waited him out, bro.
Listen. You got conquered by the Vikings one way or the other, but you chose to be conquered by the French Vikings instead.
Listen, we didn't choose. Again, like, Harold got far too overconfident.
Listen, there was choice here. Right now, you could have been a part of the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, okay?
Right now, we could have had an independent England.
Well, I don't know about that.
It could have been.
Eccentric Ripper. I've resolved to save the Brits. 2 old folks picked me up hitchhiking on Ithaca, took me to a ruin, and I was going to then took me to their cottage for tea.
That's nice.
It's nice.
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
Oh, God. Have you seen the old World War II American infomercials for American soldiers in England?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're really great.
They're amazing. Like, there's one in which they are talking to black servicemen and to white soldiers, like, you mustn't be disturbed if the British show civility even to black people.
Yep. Thing is, one thing that the Americans didn't seem to understand is that we ruled half of Africa, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like we didn't know what black people were. Like, the Americans acted like, oh, you know, only Americans understand black people. It's like, what are you talking about? We literally rule, like, hundreds of millions of black people. Like, we know what they're like, and we know how to deal with them.
Oh, those old infomercials are
Heresy
great.
is the question. Fire is the answer.
Zuloxon Doppelganger, annex the UK.
I mean, if you want, it could be your problem if you need it to be. But I think you've probably got enough problems to deal with.
Oh, did you see Idris Elba complaining about butter knives?
Yeah. We just need to take the points off knives and then all the problems are solved, bro. Shut up, Idris.
You know he was paid to say something so thoroughly stupid.
I don't know. I don't know. He could well just be ideological and be like, look, all we need to stop, ethnic minority youths from stabbing each other is to literally render them completely harmless. It's like, okay, Idris, if that's the case, why don't we just lock them up?
And it's also... It's not even like the idea that what he's saying isn't going to work, because it isn't. But it's the sheer idiocy of it. It's like, oh hey, what if we blunt the knives, dude? It's a piece of metal. I don't care how rounded the tip is. Drive that with enough force into somebody's fucking side, they're gonna be in pain.
Bro, it's fine. We'll blunt the point of the hatchet, and then it won't be able to kill anyone. Oh yeah, that's not gonna be dangerous at all. They're just going to be hacked to death instead of stabbed. Brilliant.
It's such an absurd thing.
Yeah.
I literally cannot... The more I think about it, the dumber it gets. Like, okay, so you sell the blunted kitchen knives, but now they rub them against a rock until they're sharp. What is the next step?
Ban rocks.
Now we've banned rocks.
The thing is, it's like, look, some ethnic minority youth did something, and now I can't buy cutlery off Amazon. Like, what sense does that make?
And this all started with a UK ban on zombie knives.
Yeah.
So zombie knives, for those who aren't aware, are dumb, non-functional weapons. That's what zombie knives are.
They literally are just made to look scary.
Yes, that is in essence what it is. It's supposed to be like what a 12-year-old thinks he's going to decapitate a zombie with. That's a zombie knife.
Yeah.
And because these were practically novelty items that people bought for, well, reasons of having something that looks cool and dumb.
Yeah.
And the UK had banned everything else, people were like, okay, we're going to have to start stabbing people with fucking decorations, I guess.
Yeah, well, what it was is like inner city youths would get these because they look scary, I guess. They'd sharpen them, and any sharp implement, no matter how stupidly designed it is, can kill someone.
Yes. Again, let me see if I can find a... Oh yeah, there you go. That's a beautiful example. So, this is a prison shank. It's a toothbrush.
Yeah.
Where the plastic has been melted down over a wax candle to make it like hard and brittle, and then filed to a point.
Yep.
There you go. Your toothbrush is a lethal weapon in the correct circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, literally anything that is hard and sharp can be. So, like, there was a case a while ago of this old dude whose house was broken into by an ethnic minority youth, and he stabbed him to death with a screwdriver.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh no, it's like, what we can do, ban screwdrivers? Maybe we should ban ethnic minority youths from breaking into people's houses. That'd be a start, wouldn't it?
Because it is such a... It's not even treating the symptom. It's merely just a platitude. That's all it is. It is a pure platitude. Oh, we're doing something. What are you doing? Well, we're banning zombie knives. Oh, great.
Yeah, it's because they literally don't know what else to do.
Yeah, because there is no other removing weapons. Like, oh, good, we've been making weapons out of rocks for 200,000 years.
Yeah, I can literally make a sharp point out of flint. Okay, for fuck's sake, man. Like proto-humans were killing people with rocks.
Yes, like there is no banning weaponry. And the worst part is, the example that was brought up here too was there was a kid who had been he was frequently attacked by like 20 other kids, literal gangs of the urban youth, robbing his milk money, and he's like, well, shit, I'm gonna have to get a knife.
Yep.
Oh, well, if you're living in a place where it is a plausible scenario that you're gonna get jumped by 20 kids, maybe you need a knife.
And also, maybe the issue is the 20 kids.
Exactly.
Like, fucking really, is that not the issue? Oh, well, we can't have them stabbing someone. It's like, but we can have the 20 kids jumping the one kid, can we? Right. Interesting.
The solution here isn't less than knives, it's to equip every child with a sword.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally in favour of the Bukele solution.
Oh, such a dumb thing.
Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, should we move on to the EU? Because I saw this thing with Ursula von der Leyen, and I really enjoyed it.
Let's see here.
So what this is,
You
right,
ignorant
is the
slut.
EU's plan to try and compete with America and China.
Oh.
Basically, right? No, it's amazing, right? Obviously, they've got a big fucking 1,000-page document plan, right? And they're laying this plan out because, which, you know, no one wants to read. Everyone's going to be like, Jesus, ChatGPT, give me the fucking summary on this, right? But the great thing is, essentially, she's admitting that, yeah, the problem is the very nature of the EU itself. The problem is we've got way too many managers and bureaucrats, and we don't know how not to have lots of managers and bureaucrats, and they're ruining everything, and they're causing us to fall behind. So what we're going to do is get the managers and bureaucrats to create a plan to manage and bureaucratize our way to success and prosperity. It's like, you and I both know that's not going to work. You know, you are literally, by having to make this plan, you are admitting that you failed.
I have
that your
lost.
paradigm has fucking failed and this won't work. So bear that in mind as we begin this, because she gives the entire game away right at the beginning.
That does sound excellent, though. Our
it's so
economy
good.
is too top-heavy. It's crushing the
Guaranteed
private
safety.
sector. We're going to have to make it more top-heavy.
Yeah, we need a plan to manage the private sectors to prosperity. It's like, you fucking idiots.
I think I've heard this before. It was told to me by a Georgian man with a mustache.
And literally, you've got like all of the
Ignorant
Austrian
slut.
school like screeching from beyond the grave. You can just hear the howls of Hayek and Mises just be like, what? Friedman's just like, no!
Let's see here.
von der Leyen and Executive Vice President Séjourné. Without further ado, I give the floor to President von der Leyen, please.
Yes, thank you very much and good afternoon.
Formal, isn't it? So insufferably formal.
Unironically, though, all of this is just a religious sermon for the bureaucrats.
Yeah.
It's ritual.
Yep.
It's like how the royals have like rules, like, oh, you gotta bow at this point. You know, the chamberlain will lead you in. He'll like, your Royal Highness, Majesty of blah blah blah. Then you bow. That's
That's
what the EU is.
That is exactly what this is.
It is a bunch of jumped up goddamn paper pusher who have imbued themselves with all of the aura of royalty, and God help you if you do not abide by their shit.
The funny thing is as well is that there's no particular way of compelling you to abide by it either. So if you flaunt it, all they can do is get really stuffy and angry. But anyway, sorry, carry on.
Afternoon to all of you. Indeed, we had today in the college the Competitiveness Compass.
The Competitiveness Compass, okay.
Right,
And I
pay
want to
attention to this metaphor.
Start by emphasizing the strength of the European Union. We have a very strong manufacturing and industrial base. We have a highly trained and well-educated workforce, if not the most educated workforce in the world.
But is that going to help you in producing t-shirts?
We have a continent-size single market. We have the second largest economy, and we are the biggest trading sector in the world. We have a stable and predictable legal environment. And very interestingly, we have a longer life expectancy and lower inequalities than all our global competitors.
Okay. I mean, that all sounds great, but I think very little of that actually has to do with the economic power of the EU.
Well, that's the point, isn't it? Like, oh, wow, they sound like amazing strengths. You guys must be well in the lead then. You must be storming those, you know, metaphorical
question.
beaches.
Fire
You must
is
be
the
a hub
answer.
of innovation with all these strengths.
Let's see. How many nations are in the EU? 27. Okay.
Yep.
So 27 nations combined have the world's second largest economy.
Yeah.
It's a bit disturbing. I would have expected to be first at that point, honestly.
You would think, wouldn't you?
But at the same time, Europe is also held back by weaknesses. And if you take it in a nutshell, over the last 20 to 25 years, Our business model has basically relied on cheap labor from China.
Saying the quiet part out loud there, honey.
That's the we've got all these educated people. Why aren't they making stuff? Why are you using cheap Chinese labor?
Didn't we just go like we have a huge industrial base with hugely educated people? They live for ages. All of our stuff comes from China.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? You're giving all of the game away. Like, all of that, the bloviating before, it's like, oh, look how smart and successful we are. Yeah, the Chinese make all of our stuff, and we're useless, actually. We sit around literally filing reports and pushing papers. That's all we do. She's giving it all away. It's so good.
Basically, we're just taking shit from China, refining it, and providing banking services, it sounds like.
Literally, that's it.
Presumably cheap energy from Russia. And
oh, God. Hello, Germany.
Well, this is the thing. It's like, well, yeah, Germany is doing that. But, Miss von der Leyen, is France doing that? Is France getting loads of cheap energy from Russia? No, they're using nuclear. Oh, what happened to Germany's nuclear? Oh, that's right. You shut it down and start going to coal. Brilliant.
And right now as well, there's an energy crisis in Norway. Why? Because we opened energy cables to Europe and we got forced to take the brunt for Germany being like, we don't have enough energy.
Yep.
Right now, the Norwegian government subsidizes the majority of electricity costs for private people in Norway, because if they didn't, the power prices would be so high, people would be freezing to death in winter.
Yeah, like they are in Germany right now, actually, because the Americans made Germany lose access to its cheap Russian energy. And it's like, why did you make yourself fucking reliant on the Russians when literally next door to you, the French made themselves immune to what Russia could do to them by using, honestly, almost entirely nuclear? Like, why did you do this? And the thing is, and this is the thing about the Germans, right? And I lived in Germany for 8 years. I can fucking say this authoritatively. They can never admit when they've made a mistake.
Oh yeah, they laughed at Trump when he was like, hold on, you cannot do this. You are completely reliant on your largest strategic enemy. Are you sure?
That is exactly. They laughed at Trump when he told them. They laughed in his fucking face. And it's just like, but he was so right. And now you have got to pretend. But look at the attitude, right? No, we are turning the compass of our state right. It's like, no, you were wrong. You are fucking wrong. You have been totally humiliated and humbled on the global stage, and you don't even have the decency to admit it. You've got to pretend, we're so clever and we're so smart, but we get all this cheap Russian energy and use all this cheap Chinese labor, and we're going to have to change that. So we have to admit that everything we did up until this point was wrong, the wrong thing to do, and it's causing us to fall behind. The fucking hubris, the arrogance. I can't stand it, man.
And again, it was all based on a divide ourselves from history narrative, where the Germans are looking at Russia, their enemy from the fucking Teutonic era, and they're like, no, we can trust them. Like, Germany, when have you ever not competed with Russia?
Why would you think this? How could this be in your mind?
Partially outsourcing security and security investment.
Partially outsourcing security? Excuse me. Remind me again, how large a percentage is America of the entirety of NATO's military?
Yeah, how big is the German army, just out of
Heresy's
interest,
the question.
It's like,
Fire is
wasn't
the
it like
answer.
only 200,000 men at most by law?
And it's not even an army, it's the fucking Bundeswehr. It's a glorified militia.
Yep.
Let's see here. I'm gonna look that up now, because I know it's pathetic compared.
Yeah.
NATO size. Come on, it's gotta be. Oh, there we go. That's a decent one. Right, America. Let's see. Where even is Germany? Belgium, Spain, Turkey, USA, Qatar, Romania, Bulgaria. Is Germany not even on this list?
Has it got a smaller fucking army than Belgium?
Surely not.
That can't be the case.
So this is air and naval and land. Where the hell are the Germans?
Still not allowed to militarize.
Where the hell are the Germans? Come on, there's got to be a decent list of this somewhere.
The point being, what she's admitting is that Europe as a continent outsources its energy, its production, and its defense to its rivals. And they're like, yeah, so we're falling behind. There's no innovation. There's no security. How has this happened? And it's like, how has this happened? This was your policy. You did this on purpose. You know, don't act fucking coy now. This was exactly what you intended. Like, did you think this wouldn't be the result? You fucking liars. And acting like, yes, we're the best at everything. No, we're not. Or you aren't. Anyway, you know, like, it's so obvious that this was going to be the result of this.
Mm-hmm. And so this is a decent one. It's a little bit older, but it's probably still reflective. So United Kingdom is the second largest defense spender.
Yep.
Then comes Germany. Then you've got France, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, Poland, Turkey, fucking Norway on 11th place. Really? We spend more than Belgium, than Romania? God damn it. And then America.
Yeah.
So Britain, 73 billion, America, 1.2 trillion.
Yep.
It's like you're not merely outsourcing your defense spending. You are an American vassal state.
Yes, they absolutely are. They absolutely are. And this whole fucking, these dreams of grandeur, where they're like, no, we're going to be world leading. You're not world leading in anything, and you just can't admit it.
Yeah.
You can't admit that. I mean, you've just said that everyone else controls basically everything important in your economy. The Russians control your energy. The Americans control your defense. The Chinese control your manufacturing. You've just admitted this. Just admit it. Fucking be honest.
The only thing the EU is a world leader in is being the prettiest little mice in the box, because we have taken all of this money and we have poured it into social securities. We poured it into living our lives grandly and well beyond our actual means.
Yep.
And now suddenly that Russia has started moving, and thank God for Ukraine turning into the quagmire it has, I guess.
Yeah.
Suddenly now Europe is yet again reminded, oh, is war a thing that exists? We'd forgotten about that the last 40 years.
Yep.
I have
and
lost.
Also, what I love about this is like, oh, we need to innovate. It's like, innovate? What do you mean? You've done everything you can to strangle the idea of an innovative economy. You've done everything. Why would you bother innovating in the high tax, high regulation, low entrepreneurial environment that is the European Union? Why would you bother? What would be the benefit?
And also, I love this graph here. So, as a Brit, you well know that control of the seas is control over everything.
Yeah, indeed. It's
And
definitely
America.
control over trade routes.
America has 13 carriers.
Yep, we have 2.
Yep. And like Europe, so the entirety of Europe combined is 2 in UK, 1 in France, 2 in Italy, which are probably fucking escort carriers to begin
Yeah,
with.
I can't even imagine the Italian ones are any good.
They're probably fucking heli carriers or something retarded like that.
Yeah.
Like, if you were playing a game of Civilization, this is the point at which you would give up.
Yeah, you'd be like, okay, it's over.
Yep. My competition has 10 times my number of big units.
Yeah, well, we've lost this one. We'll start
Heresy's the
again.
question.
Yes.
Fire is the
Yeah.
answer.
There's just literally nothing else to say.
And the fact that Europe has allowed itself to be put in this position and still has the balls to go like, oh no, we're totally important.
Yeah, exactly. Begin with, we're so great at everything. It's like, no, you've literally lost. And you are now admitting that by saying we're going to completely change strategy.
1 minute in, this is going to take a while.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
These days are gone. And we see that today Europe continues to lag behind the United States and China in productivity growth. And we must fix our weaknesses to regain competitiveness. This is why...
Hang on. Oh, right. So what you're saying is everything that you've been doing for the last 20 years was wrong. It produced these massive fucking weaknesses, and it allowed literally China to overtake Europe, right? For the first time in 200 years, right? It allowed the Americans to obviously completely outpace us. And I remember during Brexit, the fucking pro-EU narrative. oh, Europe's so advanced, it's so innovative, it's so technical, it's so brilliant. We can't survive without Europe. And then Ursula von der Leyen comes out like fucking some ancient vampire being like, we've failed. Europe is dying. It's like, yes, you're a dying continent. That's exactly what the Brexiteers were saying.
The Europeans project has failed.
It's literally like we were saying this. Like, no, Europe is not the positive narrative that they trot out. Europe isn't that. Europe is the old sick man of the world that's strangled in its bed by regulations, on life support, dying. And the Brexiteers were all like, look, we need to get out of this regulatory nightmare. We need to be able to do what we want rather than do what Ursula von der Leyen's bureaucracy wants. We've been saying this for years, or it wasn't her at the time, but like it was someone else. But it was just like, we've been saying this for years, and suddenly this speech is just total vindication. Everything we said about the EU, she's saying back.
Yep. And again, this is despite the fact that Europe, strategically, is one of the strongest areas in the world. We've had the most innovation, the most advancement. It conquered the world. It has the fucking Germans in it, the hyper-autists that have taken on the fucking planet twice and almost pulled it off. And yet now we can't defend ourselves. Now we rely on the French yet again for our defense.
Yeah, I mean, Europe is like a very... I mean, Europe is literally like King Theoden with like the EU worm tongue, whispering and saying, no, you need more regulations, my lord. Don't trust them. Don't trust the Brexiteers. Need regulations. It's like, no, fuck off. Fuck off. Get out of here, worm tongue.
Like the abilities of Europe, if it could work together, that's the theory, right? You've got the Germans. Okay, you've probably got the finest armed forces in the fucking world. You've got the British, the finest navy. You've got the French. They have had the finest military thinkers in history. You have we used to have the biggest shipyard in the world in Scandinavia. Like something like 40% of all the world's merchant shipping was flying the Norwegian flag at one point. You have the seeds for greatness.
The chat are laughing at the French, but the French have always been a mighty military power.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like I'm as an Englishman, like I have to admit, the French have always been terrifying on the battlefield. Right? And so when we beat them, it's all the more better to our superiority. But they have always been a mighty military power.
Well, that's the thing. The French have always been excellent at military innovation. They are usually the ones that come up with something effective, and then everybody else copies the French and perfects it. It was to say it was the case with the Duke of Marlborough. It was the case with Napoleon and the Prussians basically copying his army. It was the same with the Germans, the Soviets, all copying their idea of grand batteries. It was the French, up until like the mid-1900s, any serious military debate was talked about in French.
Yeah. And another thing about the French as well is they've always been very eager to field large armies, right? It's actually not that normal to field the number of men that France has fielded over the centuries. Like most powers didn't raise armies the size that the French would raise. So, there's something to be said there.
Absolutely.
In preparation during my last term, at the end of my last term, in preparation of a potential second term, I asked Mario Draghi to write his report on the competitiveness of the European Union. The report is exactly what we needed. It's a very clear-eyed assessment with a set of excellent recommendations. And the Competitiveness Compass we agreed on today in the college is basically the translation of the Draghi report and input from the Letta report into a communication of the Commission. So basically also describes where we're going to go in the years to come.
So, okay, again, what we were doing was wrong. We weren't prepared to accept Farage's assessment of these things because he was an evil Brexiteer. But we are going to accept Mario Draghi's proposal, whatever it is, which is basically the same. Which is basically, and the conclusion that she comes to, spoiler alert, you're not going to believe this, is actually we need fewer regulations because we've been strangling ourselves with this nanny state bureaucracy, old woman controlling and puppeteering everything. Shock and surprise.
Well, it literally becomes, yeah, we agree, but we needed a 5,000-page report. We
Yes.
could not believe it.
Yes, we needed a massive bureaucratic instrument to tell us that that was true, because that's the only way we recognize the authority of someone to give a critique. You know, it's literally an appeal to process and authority. And it's like, but the thing is the same. We're saying the same things.
And recognize authority. That's exactly it, though. Again, it's all about the temple. It's all about doing the correct sacrifices. No, your report must have the little red ribbon. It must have the correct stamps and be filed in triplicates. Otherwise, I cannot accept it.
What about the appendices? We need a dozen different appendices, all labeled in exactly the correct way and ordered. No, fucking shut up. You know, like Farage was just right about all of these things about the EU, and they're basically admitting it now. It's amazing. It's amazing.
The Competitiveness Compass focuses on 3 pillars. The first one is closing the innovation gap.
Heresy is the question. Fire
I'm
is
sorry.
the answer.
Okay. I mean, yes, I agree, but did you really need a report to tell you that? Like, get more tech.
I love the mixed metaphor. Oh yeah, we've got pillars for our compass. What are you talking about? There are no pillars on a compass. What mixed metaphor is this? But yeah, exactly, right? Why did you need a 5,000-page report for this? And Neotsu in the chat says, why is she speaking in English? Well, she's announcing it to the Anglosphere, that's why. She's announcing it to the Americans, right? That's what she's doing. She wants American investment in Europe, is what she's saying. But yeah, like, if you need to close the competitiveness gap, why did you
Heresy's the
on the
question. Fire
train
is the
to become
answer.
uncompetitive? Right, anyway, I'm just going to grab a drink, but carry on, because I've watched the whole thing already, so I'll catch up with you when I get back. I'm back in 2 secs.
Yep. See, chat, the problem here is these people don't play fucking grand strategy games. That's the problem. They don't understand that if you're getting
Fire is the
out-teched
answer.
ridiculously, you need to do something different.
The second is a joint roadmap for decarbonization and competitiveness.
Decarbonization? What the fuck does that have to do with being competitive? I'm trying to... wait. How is spending more resources on making sure that the 1 millionth molecule of carbon dioxide that comes out of our already hyper-efficient factories make us more competitive? Surely this is the reason why we buried ourselves in the first place? By placing so many rules and regulations on air filters and air control. And to be fair, a lot of that was good stuff. We have the most... non-polluting, there's a better word for that, but my brain is farted at the moment, factories in the world, vastly better than China, vastly better than America, still largely. But we've already done that. We've already achieved that. Why do we need more?
And the third one is reducing our dependencies and increasing our resilience and our economic security.
Brilliant. That was worthy of a 5,000-page fucking document. Let me actually, it's a couple of soup chests while I have an opportunity to do so here. Horowitz, Fanberg and Horowitz, good. I was waiting to see how Brogrons would react to the new trailer. I spent a few hours looking over every second of it. I want to see what you make of it. Well, now you know. Solox and Doppelganger, I would do anything to bang Willow. Oh, thank God. For a moment there, I thought you would do anything to bang Ursula von der Leyen, and I was getting a little bit disturbed. Reverend Norse, Mauler is a Buffy fan. Topic if you ever have him. Brandon, the ArchCast, when I go to hear about logistics, politics, culture wars, and listen to Arch wax philosophically about the most bangable horses. Well, yes, we have breadth here. Scope, scale. Robberleg623, Arch has finished watching your new video today. Man, I miss the animation style, such as All Dogs Go to Heaven and Atlantis, The Lost Empire. So good. Oh yeah, no. Again, I'm not kidding. We used to be at the world's top when it comes to animation. Western animation used to be beautiful. And the eccentric Ripper. Also, the Brits told me they screened The Return for the People and all the Ithacans clapped and cheered at the end. That means you have to watch it. We've just covered the part where she's talked about how we need to continue decarbonization.
Mm-hmm.
which really...
So the ideology is still completely in place, right?
Yes.
You can see at this point that they are still completely committed to the woke eco nonsense, right? But they are in the admission, in the very beginning of it, it's a big admission that all of this stuff that we were doing is bullshit, which is why we're falling behind. But we've still got the religion. We're still in the temple. We're still the high priests. And so we can't give that up. But we know the world around, outside of the temple, outside of the religion is changing, and we're losing our grip on it. So we're going to pray harder to the gods of managerialism in order to get growth and innovation. It's like, that's not how those things are created. It's not going to work.
Yeah, because the thing is, we are already the cleanest nations in the world. Our factories are already completely clean compared to China and India.
Yeah, and America, to be honest.
Yeah, and America too. America's lagging behind on this. So if there's any place we have actually advanced, we have made the ability to have surprisingly clean industry.
Yeah.
But we've achieved that. We at this point, the factory is releasing like 1 nanomolecule per 100 tons of waste matter. That's problematic. Like,
and even then,
we
you
don't
just
need
admitted that all of our serious manufacturing is done by China. So who cares?
And then these are the 3 pillars. They are horizontal, cross-cutting enablers.
Horizontal pillars. But
yeah, that's not how a pillar works. Again, this metaphor is going in very strange directions, isn't it? But the reason I point that out, it's not just a trivial thing. Think about how confused their thinking is, right? Like, there's no clarity and sort of not linearness necessarily, but like logical coherence to the metaphors they tell themselves. Like, I wouldn't get up on a stage and say, so I've got, if I do quite a lot of public speaking. I'm doing some this weekend. I understand the importance of metaphor when you're trying to communicate. I wouldn't say that my compass is held up by horizontal pillars, right? That would confuse the audience at the very best. And to my fellow intellectuals, they'd be like, what the fuck is he talking about? He sounds like a moron. Why is he mixing these metaphors and screwing this up so much, right? This is an important fact of public speaking because it indicates your thought process is clear or not. And that's what this is saying to me. If she's like, yeah, we've got horizontal pillars holding up a compass. I'm like, what?
yes, the horizontal pillars of our compass.
Yeah, duh. It's like, sorry, I'm not following. But anyway.
And I think this is because of all of this. This report must have to them been an ideological flashbang. Like they're dazed and confused right now. Because even one of her original pillars, so her pillars are make the economy cleaner, okay, get better technology, and become competitive. These are the most basic bitch ideas that these are not a 5,000 report material. These are do more research, produce more shit.
But the thing is, these aren't even ideas, right? These are desired end states.
Yes.
These are not how you produce concrete results. For example, right, I would say, okay, the mechanism by which we achieve prosperity would be, of course, lowering taxes and, creating apprenticeships or something like this, right? Like having free, technical schools or something like that. So you can go and do fucking gender studies if you want, but you're going to pay for that. Whereas if you go to a fucking technical school and study computer science or whatever, that's on the government, right? We'll pay for that and you won't have any debt. So you're going to naturally incentivize really, really, really active, intelligent people to get in the economy. I don't know what the result is, right? I don't know what they're going to make, but I do think the result will be growth. But that's not what I say that I want. I say what I'm going to do first at the beginning to get the result. They've just jumped straight to the end and going, so we're going to get growth. It's like, okay, but how? Oh, well, we're going to write 5,000 word reports and implement more bureaucracy. It's like, yeah, but that's the thing inhibiting growth. Why would I listen to you?
That are very important for our competitiveness. It's simplification. It's lowering the barriers to the single market that is our biggest asset in a world.
Hold on.
Amazing, isn't it?
Excuse me, I must have misunderstood. Lowering the barriers to your single market.
I know. Like, literally, she's saying, oh, yeah, we've been a massive protectionist bloc, and it's inhibited our growth.
Yes, but being a massive protectivist bloc is our greatest strength.
Yes. She's literally admitting that it's the existence of the EU itself, basically, that is inhibiting Europe's growth.
That fucking hit me harder than the horizontal pillars, I can't lie.
It's amazing, isn't it? That's why when I sent you this, I was like, no, we've got to do this. This is so good. And I don't even think they realize what they're admitting with this.
Her entire mindset must have just been blown. Okay, this is the words of a woman whose entire worldview has been just poofed.
Yeah.
And now she's grasping at straws, and she's not thinking any of the sentences or words through. She's just kind of mouth diarrheaing it, hoping that somebody will clap.
I don't even think that's the case. I think that she's being specific with the things she's saying, and she's saying these things deliberately. It's just she's been in this ideological bubble for such a long time that she doesn't understand that someone outside of it hears what she's saying, goes, all right, so you're saying that you are all the problem. And she's basically saying, yeah, no, we're all the problem. And we've got this 5,000 word report that says the EU is the problem. And it's like, oh, really? That's interesting.
Maybe. Like, I don't know. It seems so absurd, though.
I know, it's amazing. And remember, folks, this is the unelected head of the European Commission, right? She is the woman in charge of all of Europe, basically. And no one voted for her. And she's coming out and making a fucking fool of herself here. And she's saying it with the confidence of someone who thinks that they are at the cutting intellectual edge of world politics, technology, and ideas and management. She's saying it with the brazen confidence of someone who thinks she knows and has respectability in her field. Like, this is the pinnacle of Europe's intellectual elite as far as she's concerned.
I don't want to believe that.
Am I wrong?
I'm almost feeling like this has got to be the woke tell me that this man is a woman. Like, surely, when she's talking about horizontal pillars and looking at people, surely that must be some kind of litmus test, a test of loyalty. Hello, fellow citizen, have you seen the horizontal pillars?
That's the thing. I think that they've just been so entrenched in their position for such a long time that they don't realize how absurd they look to everyone else. You know, I can only assume that's what this is.
Of giants.
Let's carry on, Mix. It is
about financing the competitiveness. It is about skills and quality jobs and coordination.
Okay, it's about skills and quality jobs. Can we circle back to the beginning of your speech here, Ursula, when you said you were the most skilled people in all of the world? What happened to that?
Skill and quality jobs. Like, okay, but if we're already the ones refining the tools from China, we already have the most educated people.
Why is any of this necessary?
This is exactly the same as the carbon nonsense. Like, okay, we already have the cleanest factories. We're just going to do no more. So we're doubling down on the thing that has failed us.
I have lost. Shit.
That's exactly what they're doing.
Our strategy doesn't work. Implement it harder.
Yes. Well, I've got another even bigger strategy document that we're going to follow this time. More managers, more coordination, as if the managerial paradigm isn't the problem.
Oh, yeah.
You know, doubling down on more centralization. Good thinking.
Coordination. Middle managers will solve it.
That's how America got so good, right? America got so rich because they had so many commissars overseeing so many industries, and they had so many regulations that strangled the life out of any competition. That's how America got so fucking rich.
Let me have a brief look at the first pillar, driving our productivity through innovation. Europe's industrial structure has become too static, with too few startups emerging with new disruptive technologies.
So that's amazing. The whole point of the European Union is stability, homogenization and stability. That's what the single market's for. That's what the common regulations are for. That's why Britain wanted to leave, because we were like, these rules don't suit us and you won't tailor them to our interests. And she's now going to come out and be like, yeah, so our industrial structure is too rigid. It's like, yes, that's what we've been saying. It's like, it's choking innovation because there aren't any startups. It's like, really? Massive pages of regulations that people who, you need lawyers, literally a team of fucking lawyers to understand these regulations. That strangles startups who can't afford a team of lawyers, does it? Is that what we were saying the whole time? Is that literally one of the core pillars of the Brexit argument? Like this EUSSR, exactly, ArchCast in the chat, EUSSR. Like she's literally admitting everything the Anglos said about Europe was right. Sorry, I know I'm so excited about this, but I'm so, it's like finally they fucking confess.
You can't have startups in an over-regulated market because if you start a business in Norway today, for example, and we've even been talking about this for our shared projects. I'm like, no, we're definitely not starting anything in Norway.
Yeah, because just a quick aside, Britain fails at a lot of things, right? But starting a business is actually really easy in Britain.
Like we have a thing here, which is a employment tax. That is a tax placed on the business for the privilege of hiring people.
Oh, so thanks so much, government.
Exactly. The government will go, hey, we would like you to employ people to create wealth. Okay, I can do that. I've got ideas. Cool. We're going to tax you for every employee you hire.
Mental.
Hold on.
Absolutely mental.
Is this not achieving the exact opposite of what you said?
I mean, at least we just have a flat corporation tax.
Oh,
we don't have that, thank God.
We have so many taxes on companies.
I mean, so do we, but we don't have that, But holy shit. Again, the great thing about this is she's literally just admitting, yeah, we're way over-regulated and people can't start new businesses in Europe because we make it too difficult. Literally, the European Union government stands in the way and prevents them from getting on with it. And we've come to the point where we admit, this is us. We fucked this up. I love it. I love it so much.
So we need to reignite Europe's innovation engine. If you look at research and the talents in Europe, that's impressive because the European global share on patent application is on par with the United States and China.
Okay. That's interesting. So why isn't anything being created if as many patents are being filed?
Hang on. Think about what she's just said there. European innovation is on par with China.
Yeah, but America too, she said.
Oh, did she say America too? Right.
Yeah.
I suspect she's over-egging that. I don't think it is, right? Otherwise, people wouldn't keep moving to America.
But that's the thing too, though. Okay, if we assume that people are actually making up a lot of stuff, why is none of this technology being applied in Europe?
Great question.
If we already have the innovation, so she said we don't have innovation, but if we have the innovation, why isn't any of it being used in Europe?
Regulation.
But only 1/3 of these patent applications then finally are commercially exploited, and that makes...
There you go.
There we are. Literally 2/3 of them are shot down by bureaucrats. Fuck, can you imagine how insufferable it must be to be someone creative in Europe? It's like, I can't get a fucking startup going because of all these fucking government bureaucrats. And then when I try to patent a really clever idea, they're like, no.
Yeah, then they just crush you back down again. Like, okay, this is awesome. This could really become something. Now it's time for you to pay the taxes.
Yeah, or else we're just going to say no. And like the alternative is move to America. And
it's
the
leave.
Americans, Yeah, like no one stops you from doing stuff. You can just do things. You know, it's like, oh, brilliant.
Yeah, no. Americans complain in my chat about overregulation. I'm like, you sweet summer child.
You don't understand.
The difference. And we see that only a small share of EU businesses are seizing the opportunity of the digital change. If we look at our companies, only 13% are using AI, so 1 in 7 is using AI, for example, and all this must change.
Why?
Okay, I mean, I partially agree, but AI is not some magic word that just makes everything better.
Well, but notice her opinion. All this must change. Why? Because I'm not getting the results on my spreadsheet that I want. Sorry. Like everything, she acts as if she's the god of Europe. You know, it has been decided from on high. No, all this must change. Me. No, fuck you. Right? The controlling attitude is why you have a stagnant economy, which is why you're falling behind even China, which is not exactly known for its creativity or productivity, frankly. It's this attitude which is stifling innovation. It's this attitude that is strangling Europe. This attitude of a fucking prissy, marmy woman who thinks she's in charge of everything and you are all enthralled to her and will do as she says. It's that attitude that is fundamentally the root of Europe's death.
This year, we will therefore launch a broad AI strategy for our continent. It will include an Apply AI initiative to drive industrial adoption of artificial intelligence in key sectors. The strategy will also include that we have so-called AI factories, an AI factories initiative, which basically offers to our companies the possibility with supercomputers to train their models.
Supercomputers? I don't think you know what that term means, lady, but okay. So the solution isn't less regulation to make startups easier, it's to use AI. Now, okay, I am all for the introduction of automation. I sell robots, for God's sake.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, AI is not a magic word. It's not a spell that makes shit better. Like, she's applying it here as if it is some magic wand. Like, oh, if you start using AI. Like, no. There's already car factories that are like 98% automated, where the cars move slowly on a conveyor belt and robots do all of the heavy lifting. This already exists. It's not run by AI. AI doesn't make that better. It's simple automation. Like, AI has been...
know, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. She doesn't know.
But the point is, she doesn't know because she is downstream from the innovation, right?
Yeah,
AI
she's
is
just
not
been told this word. Like, oh, AI is the future. Like, oh, AI.
Yeah, and therefore there will be a managerial project to install AI in everything, whether it's relevant or not, right? Again, the centralization and the bureaucratization, the technocratic managerial bureaucracy. She has heard the word AI. A magic spell has been created somewhere else in America, right? And it's like, oh, the Americans have invented something. Okay, do we know anything about this? No, we don't know anything about this. Is Europe a world leader? No, Europe's not a world leader in this. Are we going to apply it properly, or are we going to blanket apply it ideologically? Well, they haven't got any experience to draw from, so it can only be ideologically. It can only be from an abstract, technical perspective that she will impose AI on Europe, whether it's useful or not. Right? She is forever going to be downstream, and she's going to sit there and go, why aren't we getting innovation? And it's because you are in control of everything. You are trying to solve every problem. You aren't letting people solve their own problems.
And the AI, no.
And to develop their models. And the same, after looking at AI, we will do in different action plans, for example, concerning advanced materials, quantum, biotech, robotics, space technologies.
Quantum robotics.
But notice how she positions herself to be the domineering mother, right? The devouring mother. Oh, we will bring forward an action plan. It's like, sorry, and then you just said that European people were skilled and innovative and technical. Why don't you just let them fucking do it? Like, if they're so great, which I'm sure they are, just let them get on with it. You know, you don't hear Trump saying, I'm going to create an action plan to make my people do things. He says, Elon's going to do some awesome stuff. We're just going to see how it goes. You know, there's a totally different mindset. One produces results and one kills off the continent. You know, so she's chosen. She's made her choice and she can't even think outside of this box.
And the thing is, too, what he's talking about now is a fantasy. Okay.
Well, yeah, there is that too.
That's the thing. Quantum robotics, these words don't mean anything. Quantum technology is something we theorize is probably possible.
Mm-hmm.
Heresy is the question.
Like
Fire
this,
is the
it's the
answer.
same with the AI. It's a magic word. We're going to do quantum technology. Like, oh, fantastic. Where are we going to start? Shrugs.
I've got a report.
Yeah, the report says that we've got to kickstart this shit. Oh,
Yeah.
shit. Well,
We just need to innovate, bro.
yeah, could we figure out how to fly at the same time? Because that's roughly about the same thing. Making a human being lift off the earth through the sheer power of bureaucracy.
That's literally what she intended to do.
These are all components of the markets of the future. Then there's
Hang on, just
The
stop
market
there
of
as
my
well.
fantasy.
These are all components of the market of the future. Again, look at the framing. She
You ignorant
thinks she
slut.
knows what the future is. 5 years ago, did anyone know what AI was?
No, it was completely unknown.
Exactly. No one had ever heard the Chat GPT. Completely came out of nowhere, effectively. AI rendering for images and stuff like that completely came out of nowhere. And suddenly it's like, shit, this can do almost anything. And it's literally been the past couple of years, right? And she's like, yeah, so I can tell you with certainty what the markets of the future are going to be. No, you can't. I have no idea what's going to come out in 5 years fucking time. Like in 5 years time, if we're here now, who knows where we're going to be then? You know, who knows what new product or technology will spring up that does something crazy like AI now? Like, we don't know. And she's acting like she knows. This hubris, this fucking certainty. She can always only look backwards, right? Everything she does is about looking backwards and being downstream of actual innovation. And because she is the gatekeeper to all of these things, she is the one, and the European Union, by extension, is the thing that is strangling Europe. Europeans have to understand this.
And again, none of these are ideas. None of these are solutions. None of this is actionable.
Yes.
Saying we're gonna come up with AI and quantum technology. That's not an action. That's not a plan. That's not something you can do.
That's literally like me saying, I'm going to become a billionaire.
Yes.
Okay, how? I'm just going to become a billionaire. Well, I don't have steps.
Even that is more realistic. At least that is like, I'm going to start earning money. This is more like, I'm going to come up with something so brilliant, everyone is going to need it.
Oh, really? What's that? Well,
Exactly. I'm gonna invent the wheel. Something so good that everybody's gonna need and nobody thought about it. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. It's literally that, and again the certainty. Oh, this is the thing of the future. You don't know that. You never heard of it. 10 years ago, you didn't know any of these words. You know, I know you didn't know any of these words. You know, it's such a fucking fantasy, and the entire continent of Europe is enthralled to it. That's the thing. These are fantasists.
The second element, this is important for our innovation and the possibility for our startups to scale up. In our startup and scale-up strategy, we will address the obstacles in the single market that prevent our innovative companies to scale up through the European single market.
That's amazing. What? We have just admitted that the European Union is putting obstacles in the way of business.
Fire is the answer.
We have just admitted everything Nigel Farage has ever said about business in the European Union is correct, that we've deliberately put all of these regulatory obstacles in the way of our tech innovators, and we're going to actually have to remove them, just like Nigel Farage wanted.
Well, we're assuming that when she says obstacles, she means regulation.
Well, it could be in any number of fucking bureaucratic things, but like she's admitting that they are the problem. They are the thing in the way.
Fire is the answer.
At least she's moving in the direction of admitting that.
No, she's literally admitting it now.
But it could very easily as well be like, oh no, what's in the wrong is that we're not diverse enough. We are not.
No, she doesn't. I've seen the whole thing. She doesn't. She's admitting that it's the EU. It's the EU, and she's just admitting it.
And we will improve the access to capital. Let me first have a look at the single market.
Okay, this is also a thing that pisses me off tremendously. Like, okay, I've been saying for years, the way that we need to automize, like in America in particular, to compete with China, is to make funding available. Now, in many countries, that is going to be governmental grants. Like, okay, you don't want to buy the $5,000 robot. Fair enough. The government's going to take half that tab. Will you buy the $2,500 robot? And a lot more people will be eager for it.
Yep.
But you know what the easiest way is of increasing people's access to funding? Tax them less, you fucking whore.
Yeah. Make it so they don't need so many fucking lawyers in the room when they're founding a business, and stop stealing their fucking money.
Yes, literally. This idea of receiving money from the government as if it's manna from heaven. No. They've taken that out of your wallet first. Now they're handing it back to you.
Yeah, and that's literally what she's saying. That's literally what she's saying here.
We see today that our innovative companies, if they want to scale up, they're basically confronted with 27 different fragmented requirements in the single market.
Oh boy, well, she did actually say it.
I told you.
And therefore, we will offer them the possibility of a so-called 28th regime. That is, we say voluntarily, you can opt in a 28th regime that is one simple and single set of rules across the whole European Union.
Right, pause there, because that's what they actively refused for Britain. We were like, could we at least, like, trade part for the single market and stuff like this? They were, no, it's all or nothing. It's like, oh, is it? Is it really? Well, yeah, until we need it to not be, actually. Until we need it to not be, then we can pick and choose and have tailored fucking markets. Like, fuck you! Right? But this is also an argument for more centralization, right? Because, I mean, like, the Americans don't have this problem. Like, each state has different rules. It's just because the Americans are so much less managerial, then you have this competitive element, right? So basically what they would need to do is say, right, basically the countries of Europe should be able to essentially free to create their own regulation, right? They should be free to decide what kind of business environment they want. And that would suddenly make Europe hyper competitive. Suddenly it'd be like, yeah, okay, so we're all going to just drop taxes, right? We're all just going to scrap all these regulations. And it would be a scramble for people to invest in Europe.
But this too, though. We are now going to create another book of rules here.
Yeah.
Because our previous book of rules grew too fat.
Yeah.
God help me.
We're prepared to tailor things if it makes it easier for people, which again they weren't prepared to do for Britain. So fuck you, Europe, right? But also we need to make it so that everyone basically is using this new book that's going to be scrapping all the massive number of regulations we had for everyone else. So why would we use the old ones?
It's such an idiotic thing, though. Like, okay, yeah, our book of rules has grown too fat. We're going to start a new book of rules. Like, okay, are you going to learn the lesson from the old one?
Hell no.
So dumb.
The second element that is crucial for our startups to scale up is the access to venture capital. I want to give you some figures. If you look at the global venture capital, only 5% is raised in the European Union. 52% is raised in the United States.
Jesus. Jesus.
But why would you, if you were a venture capitalist, raise money in Europe?
Yeah.
Why would you do it? They're literally admitting here that basically what they do is just rob you, right? Everyone just gets robbed. That's the point of the European Union, is just rob you. So it's like, of course I would go to America where I have property rights and I can go somewhere that is minimally taxed. Like, there are some states in America that just don't have things like income taxes, right? They only have property taxes and sales taxes. And
Or
it's just
sales
like,
tax,
Jesus.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I
this
like
is
the
so much
idea of
better.
that. Like, okay.
Yeah, me too.
I read about like Las Vegas, like, oh, don't move to Las Vegas. I was like, why? Oh, they've got an 8% sales tax or something. Like, oh my, 8%? I'm paying 25% as it is, plus regular taxes.
Yes, exactly. It's like the Americans don't realize how good they got it, but you can see why anyone who's like, right, I need to raise a lot of money, is like, well, I'm not doing it in Europe.
Yeah, obviously.
Jesus.
And 40% is even raised in China.
Fucking China. Their economy is like still 50% rice farmers. Fuck.
But also, China is a dystopian tyranny. Like, there are billionaires who just go missing in China because the Chinese government is like, okay, no, I've had enough. You know, we're just going to kill you and take your company. And yet still, fucking 8 times more venture capital is raised in China than in Europe.
Yeah, despite the fact that the Roman solution for refinancing is on the table.
Yeah, it's mad how shit Europe is under the European Union.
We do not lack capital. If you look at the European household savings, it is
Oh God, I know where this is going.
1.4 trillion per year.
Don't forget that the European Union has had bank runs in places like Cyprus, where they decided to take money out of people's banks. And it's like, oh, okay, you fucking thieves. Because she's talking about people's money as if it's hers. As if she fucking owns it. It's like, this isn't your money. You know, this is not your fucking money.
But that is exactly what she did. Like the head of the EU is going, there's a lot of private money we haven't tapped.
Exactly.
Yes,
like, look how many savings...
Look at the savings of the families. It's untapped resources.
It's unreal. This is the... But anyway, carry on. It's just...
Only 800 billion in the United States. What we lack is an efficient capital market that turns these savings into the investment.
And there it went.
Yep.
Because, okay, this is a thing too, right? One of the problems with America is that way too Americans can't handle their fucking money, okay?
Correct.
This is a legit... Like, you fuckers have so little taxes and shit and fees compared to us.
So much debt to show for it.
Yes, because you handle your money so fucking poorly.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, over here in Europe, well, we're living in the cold climate, okay? We need to acclimatize to being fucked on the regular. And so we skimp and we save, because if you're gonna buy a house in Europe, God, and especially if you don't have a partner that can take half of the cost, you're gonna have to save for like a decade plus to even stand a chance to meet the down payments.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to build up, and that is exactly what's on it. In Europe, a lot of people are quite wealthy because they have learned how to save, how to build up money, how to manage their money well and effectively. And with this toothy grin on her face, he's like, we got to turn that into investment money.
Mental. Absolutely mental.
And the venture capital that is so much needed, particularly for early stage technologies that have a game-changing potential. This is why we will, building on a capital market union and a banking union, we will present a European savings and investment union this year. It will create new savings and investment products, provide incentives for risk capital, and ensure investment flows seamlessly across the European Union.
So what she's planning here is the kind of like 401k thing where it's, investing in stocks and bonds and things like that to get a return to pay for pensions and to pay for investment in this case, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm sure you know what you're doing, right? I'm sure you're not going to accidentally lose loads of fucking money, right? I'm sure you're going to have this wisely invested and it's not going to become a complete boondoggle that pisses away all this money, right? Fair, good idea. Why weren't you doing this before, right? Why is it that you weren't watching how America generates wealth and going, wow, that's effective? We're not going to do that, though. Why? Like I said, I'm sure the risks involved are just going to mean they're going to fuck it up, to be honest. America will probably end up screwing them, frankly.
And that's the thing, too. When they're talking about stuff like this, the government takes no risk. It is you take all the risk, and if you get some money out of it, then the government is going to quickly dip into your pockets and take their share of
Yeah, they
that.
absolutely are.
And again, everybody should do some investment. If you've got some spare money, you should try to invest it. There are many excellent funds out there which are minimum risk and will usually give off way better than, at very least, an income interest in the bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is also a partly the government scheme of this, is to get you to invest in their stuff, and they will double and triple dip. They will take a part of the throw-off of the total money earned. They will use it to build their economy so they can tax you more and tax corporations more. And then when you actually earn something of it, they will also go, 20% please.
Yep. Do you trust the EU to manage this? Because if you do, I've got a bridge to sell you.
Of course, this is private capital. Public investment also will continue to play an important role if we speak about investment in innovation. And therefore, the next European budget is our chance to refocus the priorities and, of course, also to simplify the access to European funding. Let us have a look at the second pillar.
Pause. Why is access to European funding so complicated? Who made it so complicated? Who made it so difficult for Europe to finance innovation? The EU. You again admitting we are the barrier to Europe's prosperity. And we always have been.
Always have been.
In the Compass, the joint plan for decarbonization and competitiveness,
all I hear now when I hear decarbonization is God.
I hear deindustrialization. Which I think is accurate. I think that's what they're going for, frankly.
To a net zero economy is essential for prosperity.
Is it?
Why?
No, see, this is why I hear God, because it's then followed by something fucking nonsensical.
Yeah. No, that's totally true. And this is genuinely where we get to the sermon, right? The religious aspect of this.
It's like, okay, we need to reach net zero emissions. Okay. Why? To minimize pollution, to maintain air quality? No, for prosperity. How does that lead to... How does... Wait, no. It doesn't track on any way. This doesn't lead to prosperity. It could, if we came up with something really clever, or we continued to industrialize whilst being able to keep our air cleaner. Nobody disagrees with that. That's the thing. Nobody goes oh yeah, the factory should just dump the shit into the river.
No.
But that doesn't equal prosperity. Prosperity is not created from going net neutral.
And if it was, why isn't America doing it?
Yeah. And
why isn't China doing it?
If it was, why is Europe not the world's largest economy by 1,000,000 miles?
Yeah. Why aren't our competitors not doing this? If this was so obviously and straightforwardly a profitable thing to do, we wouldn't do anything else. Trump would be yeah, we're going to drill baby drill, if that wasn't more profitable than doing net zero. Obviously. The fact that you're ideologically committed to this shows us that this is not about reality. This is about a religion. You are right to hear God in this. You are absolutely right. This is the priest at the pulpit preaching the good word.
I want to be very clear.
Fire is the answer.
The
That'll be a first, but go on.
European Union stays on course for the Green Deal objectives without any question.
We're not abandoning the religion.
Yep, we are not abandoning the religion. The temple will stay.
Yeah, exactly. It's just so mad.
And again, the Paris Climate Accord is the perfect example of this, where America signs onto it, and nobody understood. It was Paris is a huge deal. China signed on. It's amazing. And then you read it. China's yes, we will continue to mine coal for next 5,000 years.
Yeah, China's not going to do shit.
No, they committed themselves only to increasing their dependency on coal. And in the same deal, America, their greatest competitor in the coal market, promises to scale down. So you have here a deal that's going to cost America billions and trillions and benefit China to the same sum, and then you hail China signing it as a triumph. The only way that can be perceived as a triumph is if you are actively championing against America and the West.
And you act with the Pikachu face when Trump's I'm pulling out of the Paris Accord.
Yeah, how dare you? We were only taxing you billions a year.
Yeah, exactly. It's so ridiculous. It's all so fucking ridiculous.
This is a unique strength we have, and we must provide predictability for clean tech investors and companies. Clean tech industry is looking for...
Hold on, if this is such a strength, why does the government need to guarantee stability?
And if it's such a strength, why do we even need to like act as if this is something I have to remind you of? No, it's an obvious strength. Well, yeah, duh. I mean, why would we even talk about it?
Yeah, this is so good that the government is going to have to step in and reassure you.
Yeah, this is a good idea.
For opportunities, Europe is open to business. We are already world leaders in clean technologies. If you look at the wind turbines, the electrolyzers, the low carbon fuels.
Yeah, none of which earns any money. Yeah.
And this is amazing. We're world leaders in clean technologies. Oh, that's brilliant. You know, no one cares and they're not productive, but that's amazing. Well done.
We're world leaders in putting up wind turbines that cost far more than they ever produce.
Yeah, incredible.
We've built enormous solar system panels that are also net benefited drags on the economy.
Yeah.
We are the
Well
world
done.
leaders in technology that costs nations billions.
No one wastes money like we do.
The European Union's claim to fame: we can burn money faster than you.
Which is true. Like, literally, no one wastes... China doesn't waste this much fucking money, and they build empty cities. I'm not joking.
More than 1/5 of the world's clean technologies are developed right here in Europe. So we have to work hard that we stay number one. And therefore, first movers will be rewarded with investment certainty.
We need to stay number one at the most wasteful, pointless thing that we do.
Yep.
I don't think that's going to be a problem.
With preference in public procurement and simplified state aid in targeted sectors. We will also, of course, work...
Okay, hang on. Quick pause there. Why was it so complex? Who made it so complex? That you set this thing up, you made it excessively complex, and you're like, yeah, we need to simplify this. Why wasn't it simple from the beginning? Why did you have 5,000 pages of regulations on every fucking thing you do?
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
More traditional industries to be supported in the transition. Actually, I will launch tomorrow the strategic dialogue in the automotive industry. We will support this automotive industry through also the deep transition they are undergoing, and we will ensure that the future of cars remains firmly rooted in Europe.
I mean, listen to her. The command economy she intends to run. Right. No, we're going to go to the automotive industry and tell them how to do it. It's like, you don't think they know how to make cars? Like, you don't think they know what they're doing with their own industry? No, Ursula von der Leyen has come along. Don't worry, German automotive industry. The bureaucrats have arrived. Oh, fucking brilliant.
You are saved.
Yeah, exactly. It's literally they are the saviors of the German automotive industry.
Listen, I know this doesn't make a whole lot of sense, automotive people. I know we're asking you to retool your entire industry to nothing but electric cars, whilst having energy crises, but let me reassure you, I have a plan.
It's so fucking stupid.
We will also roll out tailored action plans for energy-intensive sector, just to speak about steel and metals or chemicals. We will work on the acceleration of permitting. You know, this is a constant complaint, rightly so.
Then why haven't you done anything?
People have been complaining about this for decades. It's probably one of the primary causes of Brexit. Finally, we're like, yeah, okay, we're actually going to agree. You are right all along. We were lying. We were lying when we said we weren't the problem. We're sorry. We're gonna do exactly what you wanted.
Citizenship.
And very important, we have to address structurally too high energy prices and energy costs in the European Union. You all know this.
Okay, so Europe is the world leader in clean energy like windmills and solar farms.
For some reason.
The EU is also demanding that all of the car manufacturers switch over to electrical cars or hybrids at the very least.
For some reason.
And Europe is currently having an energy crisis.
For some reason. Also, we were dependent on Russian energy, and then Russia went to war with us for some reason.
And we are going to deepen this energy crisis by reinvesting more in electric cars and more in solar power.
More to the energy crisis. Honestly, it's fucking baffling.
Like, it's at the point where they can't be that stupid. Like this is at the level of a basic household budget, where it's like, honey, the negative seems to be vastly outpacing the positive. We can't pay the bills. And them going, don't worry about it.
Well, whatever we're doing at the moment, if we just commit harder to it, then that will somehow see us through.
Yeah,
It's like,
eventually the red numbers will become positive. Trust me.
Yeah. But the thing is, even then, she's admitting here, okay, yeah, fine, I was full of shit. You know, so essentially what they're doing is gaslighting us, right? They're literally saying, well, yeah, no, everything we did up till now was wrong, but we were not wrong to do everything we did up until now. These fucking people, man.
Story. We had already structurally high energy prices before Russia's war in Ukraine started. Then Putin cut us off the gas supplies. We were heavily dependent on Russian gas supplies.
Why?
You laughed at Trump. You laughed in his fucking face. She's here again. Everything is just being admitted. Like, yes, we were really stupid. Yes, we were really arrogant. Yes, we thought we knew everything. And yes, this all blew up in our face. Yes, we're going to have to change. No, we're not going to show any contrition.
Yep.
No, we're not going to show like we've learned anything, or like we're sorry. Like no humility. No, nothing. No, I'm going to act like I'm still I'm still in charge of everything and I'm so clever, blah, 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 because technically you can't remove me anyway. There's literally no way you can get rid of me. So fuck you. I hate the European Union so much, man.
We had skyrocketing prices for energy over a certain time, tenfold partially. But now we're back.
Tenfold.
Back to pre-war.
But not in France.
Yeah.
Prices.
But
still.
Nuclear, we can't do nuclear because nuclear, icky. Don't like it. Scary,
Don't do that.
Icky. Soviet or something. I don't know. You know, and the French just sat there literally with the cheapest energy in fucking Europe, exporting energy. And it's just like, God damn it, man. And it's literally, and people are like, oh, why? Because the French are selfish, right? They're really fucking self-interested and nationalistic. That's the reason. And that's fine. It's totally fine and I think we should copy that. You know? I want us to have literally nothing but nuclear power plants so we can be self-interested and nationalistic and export energy.
These prices are too high. And therefore we will come in a few weeks with the Affordable Energy Action Plan to work on the structural issues to lower the energy prices for our industry.
They've got an action plan.
They've got an action plan.
I was worried they didn't, you know.
It's like, again, the prices were too high, then a crisis occurred, the prices increased tenfold, and you are going to continue to double down on the energy-intensive industries. We are now going to make our entire transportation system, all of our food, all of our medicine, all of the trucks are going to be electric now.
Clean energy, bro.
This is the gun we have been slowly cocking to our own heads now for decades. And no matter how much everyone is looking at the literal gun and going, don't pull that trigger, we just won't stop.
Yeah. That's exactly what is happening. And okay, yeah, no, I believe that you guys are literally going to put it to your head and pull the trigger. I just hope that, you know, this chamber is empty, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we are literally going to arrive at a point where, I swear to God, within the next, decade, there's going to be pictures of electric trucks standing by the road whilst fucking horses and carts pull groceries.
Yes. Yeah, I bet that is exactly what I can imagine.
Oh, I mean, we haven't even built out the infrastructure to support this shit at the current level, and we're going to abolish just petrol completely in a few years.
And the irony is that Germany is just going to be literally powered by coal.
Yeah. Meantime, okay, we got to shut down the nuclear power plants. Okay, how are we going to replace them? Well, we're going to dig up miles of countryside.
Yeah. But the thing is, what about all the green stuff? Yeah, well, we needed to keep going. So why didn't you use fucking nuclear then? And they literally have no answer to why they don't use nuclear. It's all just green ideology. It's communism, basically.
I gotta show you something here that's gonna fucking piss you off. So, to feed the coal mines, they recently in
You
Germany
ignorant slut.
tore down a church from the 1800s
Why?
because they needed to dig up the coal.
Well, God forbid that you use nuclear like the French.
Yeah, so this 100-year-old work of architectural beauty was demolished so we could dig more fucking coal.
Heresy's the question.
And again, you sit
Fire
there
is the answer.
harping on about net zero and carbon and things like this, and it's just hypocritically pouring coal into the fucking furnace. And it's like, but you didn't have to do this. You had nuclear power plants. France could build you a bunch of nuclear power plants. This is not like beyond the realms of modern technology. It's just you're such hypocrites, and you can't admit you are fucking wrong.
Net zero, as in net zero land remaining as our ground-eating monsters devour the countryside.
Oh, I hate them so much. They're such hypocrites. And they are so wrong on everything, and they can't just be honest.
And this is the alternative. This is the preferable alternative to a nuclear power plant. Is literally the ground eaters from Warhammer 40,000 just ripping apart miles and miles of Germany.
These fucking people, man.
Now, the third pillar in the compass is about strengthening our resilience and economic security. Europe is a champion in trade. We have agreements with 76 countries.
All of whom are fucking us, no doubt.
Yeah.
We are
Or
the largest
shit.
trading partner for 72 of them, representing 38%.
Well, hang on. That's interesting. They're either fucking us like the United States, or they're tiny and shit. And for 72 of them, they're tiny and shit.
Yep.
World's GDP. And interestingly, in these times, there's a growing appetite to engage more closely with us, not only because our market is attractive and is big, but also because of our reputation as a partner. In Europe's offers, there are no hidden strings attached.
And that is true. They are totally tyrannical just up front.
Yep.
Heresy's
They're
the
not
It's
hiding any of
totally-
this.
Fire is the
They don't
answer.
hide it at all. You know, a smart country would definitely be a lot more circumspect about it. But Europe, no.
And of course, smaller nations are going to be like, hey, Europe, will you give us billions of dollars? Yes.
For no reason.
Others may focus on exploiting and extracting. We look at investing locally.
Well, thank you for immediately getting to my point, I guess. Other nations look at other smaller nations and wonder, how can I benefit my people? The European Union doesn't do this. We look at Congo and go, how can we transfer our wealth to you?
That's literally what they do. Those 72 tiny nations who are making out like bandits from the European Union. Oh, brilliant.
Where the critical raw materials of our partners are, in producing a value chain there and taking the finished products to the European Union. So everyone wins.
Do they?
No, we lose because you're building the industry in Congo so Congo can
Ignorant
sell us
slut.
stuff that we could have built ourselves. So we're paying for you to build the thing that we then purchase from you.
Again, I can't help but notice that the selfishness of the French is actually a model in this, right? Think of the current African revolutions in North Africa, West Africa, right? Against French domination, right? Economic domination, right? The French, like,
Service
whether
guarantee
you
citizenship.
approve of what they've done or not, right? They have at least acted in French interests, right? And I'm not in any way blaming the African nations. Like, no, we're just going to kick the French out at this point. We don't want economic connections with France because they exploit us. Yeah, fair enough. You work in your own interests as well. If only the EU could do the same thing for Europe generally.
Well, that's the thing. When Africa started to be like, hey, France, get out, the French response was, no.
Make us.
Literally, yeah. You think you can wage a war, are you? Okay, we may have fallen behind a little bit, but we can still whoop your ass.
And you know, I respect it. I totally respect it.
Yeah, unironically, it's the French looking at their little shoulder, little flag going like that. Sorry, sir, you seem to have mistaken this for the Italian flag, the only one to have ever lost a war against an African nation.
Yeah, they do look very similar, though, so I can understand why they'd make that mistake.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, like, I'm just saying, being selfish like the French has dividends.
It does. It does. Given the military experience as well, it made them realize that their army wasn't well suited for, well, expeditionary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
With this in mind, we have launched a new generation of trade deals to secure supplies of raw materials, clean energy, and clean tech from around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. So Europe, the leading force in clean technology, is going to be importing clean technology from Congo.
Incredible.
Fantastic.
I bet they can't believe their fucking luck.
True. They must be sitting there like, these white people really spent billions on us.
Well, look, think of the guy from Rwanda, right? We gave him something like £250 million to take refugees in a deal that allowed him to send refugees to us, 1-for-1 exchange, and then we never sent anyone, and we didn't ask for the money back. He must just be like, so they've given me £250 million. Is this serious? And it's like, yeah, they're not going to ask for it back. It's like, great.
Holy shit. Okay, this happened, wait, did this happen a couple of days ago? How did this fly under the radar? Trump has shut down foreign aid?
I covered it today on the podcast. Yeah. Apart from to Egypt and Israel, which Egypt's a weird thing. Why Egypt?
Yeah, why Egypt?
I mean, obviously we expect Israel, but like, why Egypt? But okay, fair, and obviously all the fucking foreign NGO sort of, the NGO network across the world's panicking. They're really panicking. So they're like, hang on a second, that's my entire livelihood gone, because obviously I've got no skills and talent. I can't do anything else. So that's bad.
Yeah, like, excuse me, that's my money that you were giving me there.
You know what's funny? A former president of Kenya came out and was like, what did you expect? This is the American money. You're not an American taxpayer. What did you expect? And it was it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
And again, like, America's foreign aid puts lives at risk. Donald Trump sought disruption. He hurt America first. No, he didn't.
No,
he fucking didn't.
Nothing to do with America. In fact, the giving just random amounts of money to foreigners, that hurts the American taxpayer.
And again, this doesn't help anyone either, okay? We have tried the foreign aid thing. Nobody knows how much money has been spent on foreign aid. The best guess is trillions upon trillions, okay? Yeah. Nobody knows. It's such an astounding amount of money that nobody has been able to keep track of it. Has it solved a single fucking problem? Not a one. Africa still, every year there's the ads on the television. Mabungo is starving. Mabungo has been starving for 30 fucking years.
Yeah. They have to walk 15 miles to get water. It's like, well, I suggest relocating your fucking village then.
Yes. It's the same thing. They don't have access to fresh water. Hold on. I saw this drive on the television 20 years ago.
I mean, I remember them doing like massive concerts, live aid and stuff like this. God knows how many, uncounted billions we've sent to Africa and nothing's changed. And it's like, okay, well then I'm not really that worried about it.
Absolutely. Like, nothing has changed. The material condition of Africa seems to have improved nothing.
They need your money, Arch.
This is so... That's the thing. No, every Western nation should just shut the crane now. And you're like, no, we need this money. And I don't care about we're only spending like 2% of our money on... I don't fucking care. 2% of a nation's GDP. Billions upon billions.
2% of our money? Bro, I'm fucking broke. Like, sorry. I'm sorry Mbungu can't move closer to the water source or he can't learn to plant some fucking crops, but I'm fucking broke.
Yeah, again, the only actual solution to this problem is fucking colonialism. It's the only solution. Every place, in German East Africa, in ex-British colonies, They built sustainable systems. They built agriculture. Look at fucking South Africa and the white settlers there, what they have managed.
Yeah.
That is the only way. This is not a problem that can be solved by money. This is a problem that must be solved via broad, sweeping, complete cultural restructuring of the fucking continent.
Well, I actually said this on the podcast. Like, look at like all of the Southern American countries, right? They're like, you can't send millions of Mexicans and Haitians back to us. This will ruin our countries. And it's like, okay, first things first, how can your own people be your problem, right? How can that be, right? There has to be something wrong with the way that your people are running your own countries, right? And if that's the case, and there's no shame in it, it's okay to ask for a colonial governor, right? It's genuinely, honestly, right? Give me a year and 50,000 men, I would be able to fix Haiti. You wouldn't like it. It wouldn't be very liberal. It wouldn't be a liberal order at the end of it. But what it would be is an order that provides food, right? And safety and security and has laws, right? It would literally be like the British Empire running, Jamaica again, right? It would be beautiful. I mean, you can go back to like the 40s and see videos of, what's the capital of Jamaica? Fucking... I can't remember the name of the capital of Jamaica now. But it was a beautiful, beautiful colonial city, right? Beautiful. And there's videos of it being unbelievably orderly, really well run. And now, obviously, it's shit, right? Kingston, that's it, Kingston. Beautiful, because it's in a tropical fucking island, right? Give the British a tropical island to administer, and you have literal paradise, right? It's literally what you have. And of course now it's shit. And so in 2011, 60% of Jamaicans were like, yeah, it was definitely better under British rule. Like 60% were like, yeah, it was definitely better when the British were in charge. So,
and again, the only way to fix this is unironically through brutal fucking oppression. All right?
But it doesn't even have to be that bad. It doesn't have to be. Yeah, I mean, that is true.
Look at El Salvador. Their country was mad.
Yes.
They were ran by criminal gangs. And then a group comes in and goes like, hold on, I am the fucking government. I have an army. I don't need to stand for this. There you go.
It just takes willpower. But the thing is, like, in various places, you wouldn't need to get that back. Because Haiti, El Salvador's gangs were a remarkably evil thing. Right? Mm-hmm. It's actually not usual to have gangs this fucking virulent and disgusting. Like, most gangs are bad, but not that fucking bad, right? So it's like, okay, well, you probably don't need to get that crazy with it. You can just be quite firm-handed, So it's like, you just have, like, there's no gibs, there's no fucking handouts. You're going to be compelled to work, right? You'll be compelled to work on a farm. But that means in a year's time, you're going to have harvests, right? You'll have money. And then you can have it so that you're compelled to take half of what you produce and put it in like a government savings or something, right? So yeah, okay, the government's taking half your income. That sucks. But you clearly will not save it yourself. Unlike the Europeans, who even, despite the fact the government's taking half of what they earn, they're still amounting savings. The government's going to do it for you. But what that means is when you are no longer young enough to work, when you're too old, you're going to have a big wad of savings there that the colonial governor has set out for you that will pay for you to relax in your old age, right? So literally, and just with this basic structure, and then just imposing law and order, obviously, so that you have secure property rights. With this structure, you would have a prosperous society in a generation, right? You would have it in a generation. But of course, oh, well, yeah, I mean, that's not very liberal, is it? No, it's not very liberal. That's right. But it would be good for people.
Yeah. And again, this is almost all just due to, well, again, liberal softness, practically.
Yeah.
With the nonsense with Mexico. Trump designated cartels as terror groups could hurt the U.S. economy. Absurdity.
What?
Genuine absurdity.
How would that hurt the U.S. economy? Oh, I mean, I suppose the black economy that does drug and people trafficking.
Yeah, and then the country Mexico defends sovereignty as the U.S. seeks to label cartels terrorists. Mexico goes, hold on, you can't start attacking our massive criminal empires.
The thing is, these places are basically seceded from Mexico.
Yes.
Like, the Mexican government does not exercise sovereignty over the territories in which the gangs operate. So it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? How are you going to stop the Americans from going in there just out of interest? What's your plan here, Mexico?
It's absurd because, I agree. Mexico's sovereignty will be impugned upon when America starts bombing drug houses. True.
Yeah.
But this is a problem you created. You are neighboring a superpower.
Yeah.
And you decide it's a good idea to let criminal elements pump cocaine and heroin into that superpower, assuming it won't react.
It's not even that they let them, right? That's the thing. Have you seen the fucking equipment that these gangs have?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's literally like paramilitary. Like, the Mexican government doesn't have the power to stop these gangs. It's like, okay, well then, you are not sovereign over this area, so we're not going to talk to you as if this is your territory, right? Because when we say that, what we're talking about are fictional lines on a map, right? You do not have the power to enforce your will of these gangs, therefore this is not your territory.
Like, this was a recent seizure they did in Mexico, right?
God, that's mad.
Look at this.
High-grade military equipment.
It's like that thing right there. That is a fully automatic, like, USA 12 shotgun.
Mad. They've
got, I think that's an MG34? Yeah, you've got now another MG over there. You've got a fucking, like, homemade 50 cal sniper rifle.
Yeah, mental.
You've got dozens of assault rifles. That's the fucking MP40, damn.
Like we're not dealing with it's not like Breaking Bad where it's like a guy's got a handgun. He's bullying like residents in a residential area, and threatening some guy who cooks meth in a fucking mobile home. No. This is a proto state with industry and military force.
Yes, I mean. So one of the reasons why they make like the 50 cal snipers, and this thing here was a fucking rocket propelled grenade launcher, is because the police have armored cars. So they need to move into an area with the armored car so as to not get shot by all of the insurgents. Well, they've got fucking anti-tank weapons.
Yeah. I mean, just yeah. As a quick aside, like literally they have rocket launchers. You're not in control of this territory.
When they have dozens of assault rifles, they've got grenade launchers, they got fully automatic shotguns, they got heavy fucking machine guns and rocket launchers, something has gone wrong.
And this is just what they caught in this hall.
Yes, this is one raid.
Yeah, this is one fucking raid. This isn't like, in total what they had access to.
And the Mexican government's problem is like, no, America, you can't impugn our sovereignty.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
I'm sorry, you've lost your sovereignty quite some time back.
Yeah, I have no sympathy.
It's absurd. Like, America is fully within its right to do whatever the fuck it wants at this
100%. 100%.
Anyways, hello, Ursula. We're almost through.
Let me now finish with a view on two horizontal enablers. The first one is simplification.
Sorry, horizontal enablers in my compass? What are you talking about? Where's this metaphor gone?
Yeah, we're back to the horizontal pillars.
Yeah, what are you on? Sorry, go on.
We have a very clear signal from the European business sector that there is too much complexity and the duration of permitting is too long.
I mean, yes, that's correct.
But again, just circling back to the Brexit argument, you've just come out and admitted, yes, we've just spoken to business in Europe and they all admit that Farage was right, the British were right. For some reason, we've got loads of layers of bureaucracy and there's too much time to wait for a fucking permit. There's too many taxes. There's too much layers of bureaucracy and this has been strangling us. Yes, the English were right about the European project. That's what she's saying. All of those evil, rotten Brexiteers were 100% correct.
The administrative procedures are too cumbersome. We have to cut red tape.
We told you! I fucking told you! You said no! Fuck you, people! This is
We will
literally
deli-
like so vindicating for the Brexiteers. Like to have to come out and go, yeah, well, they were all right about everything, by the way.
Heresies
For an unprecedented
Fire is the
simplification
answer.
effort. We will start with the first simplification omnibus proposal next month. This includes a
It'll
far-reaching
take a month.
simplification in the
It
field.
takes too long to get permits through. Yeah. Oh, well, we'll deal something about that. Yeah, in a month.
Yeah.
What do you mean in a month?
Hold
Cut
on,
it
we've
tomorrow.
got to put together the omnibus bill too.
Yeah, exactly. We need 5,000 pages for you to read through before we can agree this. It's like, do it now, so tomorrow it's gone. Fucking, what are you wasting my time for?
Of sustainable finance reporting, sustainably due diligence and taxonomy. Other omnibuses for different sectors will follow.
Oh, good. It's not just one omnibus. Oh, lovely.
Like, the word omnibus is not what you want to hear when dealing with regulations and permits.
It's really not.
It's just the worst word to hear. It's just like, what? Why? No.
Is the answer.
No, I want one page. That's what I want, one page.
It gives the immediate mental picture of this woman walking into your fucking business and just slapping a fucking brick on the table. Like, read it.
Yeah, I hope you've got your lawyer's hat on. It's like, no, I don't.
Listen, we've cut it down. It's only 600 pages now.
Fuck.
This will be another major step in delivering on our target to reducing EU reporting obligations by 25% for all companies, and as you know, by 35% for SMEs. And we want to go further because reporting is not the only obstacle that is there. There are other types.
Stop. So, okay, right. So, if you could reduce what companies have to report to the EU for them to be able to do business by 25%, and you admit that this will improve business in Europe, why weren't you doing this from the fucking start?
Because that this is them giving up control. Like before, they were inside of your fucking walls. You had to report on every brushstroke you did.
Yep, exactly. This has always been about control. This devouring mother at the top of Europe being like, no, we need to be in everything. We need data on everything. It's like, yeah, you know what? We're actually going to allow you to report 25% less. Like, look, I want zero. I want Dominic Tarzinski, love my zeros, okay? Fuck off. Why do the Americans have so much more money and success and innovation than us? Because they don't have this overbearing state. That's why. It's so obvious. Anyone knows this. And when you say, oh, I'm going to start scaling back, you concede it. You admit it in that you want to scale it all back to be more competitive. So just knock it the fuck off.
Administrative costs imposed on our industry. So we are expanding the commitment to cover 25% of all these recurring administrative burdens and 35% for SMEs. Our goal is that by the end of the mandate, we will have made proposals that could save companies over 37 billion euros a year.
37 billion a year in just paperwork.
Unbelievable how she's literally, like I told you, this just gets better and better, didn't I? Right? Like, that is the most fucking staggering admission. That it's like, yeah, well, our administrative, bureaucratic regulations are literally strangling the life out of European business. We are literally making it physically impossible for them to make money, and we are costing them nearly 40 billion a year. And if sorry, we're costing way more than 40 billion a year. But if we reduce it by 25%, we save them nearly 40 billion a year, right? So it's going to be literally like 130 billion or something like that. God only knows how much is being wasted over the entire continent of Europe in just fucking administration that the central government of Europe wants, right? It's just such a remarkable. I can't believe Farage hasn't snapped this up and isn't just hammering tongs. Ursula admits. Everything I said was right. They admit that they're strangling Europe. They admit that it's the regulation that's the problem. They admit that it's the protectionist nature of the bloc that's the problem, and the homogenization of the fucking thing that's the problem.
Yep, that is 150 billion euros in just paper pushing every year in total.
I mean, fuck me, man. Like, if I was still in the European Union, I'd be fucking livid. I'd be like, Nigel Farage is fucking right. Death to the European Union.
Finally, the issues of skill is absolutely central. We have excellent figures, 75% of employment, 6% only of unemployment. But hidden behind it is not only a successful labor market policy, but it is already the lack of labor and skilled labor. So we will deliver a union for skills this year to reskill and upskill Europe's workforce in a world of a fast technology change where this is absolutely needed to have a success in our competitiveness.
So that's a great admission as well. We have the most skilled people in the world. Yeah, the most skilled fucking paper pushers.
Yep.
Right.
We have 95% employment rate and bureaucrats.
Yeah. We have 150 billion euro fucking like administrative burden every year, and that's just on the private sector. So God only knows what it is in the European Union and in the state sectors itself, right? So it must be hundreds of billions a year is wasted on bureaucrats. And so that's where our skills lie. We don't have skills in fucking innovation, technology, AI, all these things. We don't have any of that. And so we need to now retrain, and God knows how much this is going to cost, retrain millions and millions of people to actually be productive, is what she's saying.
We have to retool our entire bureaucratic economy. And again, those 150 billion was just in reporting. That has nothing to do even with the regulation. So, they have constructed a vast Tower of Babel where thousands of people enter every day to push paper.
Yeah, and it's costing so much money. And it's like, why isn't our economy growing? I mean, I just can't imagine, Ursula. Well, I mean, you're admitting why, actually. You're just coming out. And again, what I love about this is she's just totally coming clean. She's like, yeah, we've been squeezing everyone. They've got no money. We've been robbing them, basically, in order to have, like, this unbelievably calcified political environment. And, well, it's leaving us way in the dust. Even behind China. Somehow the European Union is more bureaucratic than the dictatorial communist country.
This was a glimpse at the width and the depth of the Competitiveness Compass. I want to be very clear. We have a plan. We have a roadmap. We have the political will. Now what matters, and really matters, is speed and unity.
Good luck.
Speed, yeah. We're going to get that on that next month.
Yes. We'll produce an omnibus bill next month.
Can't you use AI for it, love?
Maybe that's what they mean with improving the AI. Everybody gets an AI partner. That's just, you feed the omnibus bill into it, like, okay, what does this mean?
Yeah, summarize this in 3 paragraphs.
And no matter what you feed into it, the 3 words are the same. You're getting fucked.
Yeah. More taxes. Fuck.
Speed, because the world is not waiting for us. So it's high time that we accelerate. And unity is important to really implement this political will. Very good is the fact that the European Council endorses strongly the Draghi report. We had a debate in Budapest, and the Budapest Declaration is very clear, full endorsement of the 27 leaders of the way forward. Here's now the translation with the Competitiveness Compass. And with that, I want to give the floor to you.
So just pause on that. Like, you all have to do as you're told.
Yep.
To make this work, you're all just going to have to do exactly what we tell you to do.
Yep.
So,
I may have gotten all of you into this mess, but I have now a compass with horizontal pillars that will solve all of this.
This will get us out. You just have to do exactly as I say when I say it all the time. And read the omnibus.
Yeah, and read the omnibus.
Fuck's sake, man. I hate the philosophy that underpins the European Union. I hate the arrogance of the people running the European Union. Even when they come out and just admit they were wrong on fucking everything, they're still arrogant jackasses who act like they deserve to be in charge because there's no mechanism of accountability. The European people have no way of removing these people from power. So they don't have to act like they'll ever go. And so they're never going to go. And so no matter how much they fuck this up, and again, what an amazing admission of how much they are sucking the soul out of Europe, they can't be removed. Nothing will ever happen to these people.
I'm just obsessed with the compass because,
well, yeah,
even in the background here, it little boxes. Why a compass? Why did you choose a compass? Where did the pillars come from? Where are the horizontal ones? What is the...
Yeah. It totally lacking in imagination, totally lacking in self-perception. Like the way that people outside of their little bubble perceive them is just something like, why would I think about that? Why would I think about that? Yeah, good question. Why would that matter to you?
It feels like it's designed to confuse.
Yep.
It's like, here is my compass. The compass will show the way. Okay, I'm on board so far. These are the pillars. Oh, all right.
Are you not paying attention to the horizontal pillars of my compass? Horizontal. I'm not.
Well, that was definitely a good one. Sargon.
I told you. I was literally. I came up in my Twitter feed and I was making myself some dinner earlier. I thought, okay, I'll listen to this, see what they have to say. And I was just, my jaw was just dropping. Moment, it's just, oh my God. You know? Like, so, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that. It's nice to be vindicated, frankly, even if it's by people who can't admit that you were right and they were wrong.
That was an excellent little video.
Yeah. The total capitulation from the European Union. Literally, yeah, everything about the European project was wrong.
Yep. As our pipe dream of a 2-hour show continues to fucking crumble day by day.
Yeah. I won't be able to do like long ones next week, but I'm actually working from home tomorrow, so I should be all right.
All right, let me go through the ones that are to you, at least, for the super chats first and foremost.
Sure.
Frog Jupiter. Sargon, what happened to Callum? Why was he arrested to the UK counter-terrorism unit? Do you know if he's going to be okay?
Yeah, he's going to be fine. Like, believe it or not, right, this is actually not a terribly unsurprising thing to have happen. And there are lots of, like, right-wing commentators who have been through the same thing in Britain. The government has decided that actually all forms of terrorism are equal and valid, right? And so, despite the fact that 94% of terror deaths are from one particular religious persuasion, Hindu nationalism and far-right extremism, quote-unquote, are just as concerning, right? And so Prevent has been told, there's been a leaked document that came out this week, that Prevent, the organization designed to prevent terrorism, were told, oh yeah, we'll treat all of these things the same. Focus more on non-Islamic terrorists, quote-unquote, extremism, because of course we don't want to be Islamophobic, we don't want to be racist, and that's going to be the reason. And it's totally within the terror legislation the Tories put in that he doesn't need to have a lawyer. You know, he can't remain silent. He doesn't get access to a lawyer, and he can't not. You know, they can just arrest him if they feel that and just interrogate him if they feel like it. And so this has happened to a lot of right-wing people, and it's not that surprising, really.
Welcome to England. You have no rights.
Fine. Yeah, no, that's basically true. But he's fine. He got his stuff back, and you know everything's okay.
Oh, that's good. So Chard for 10. Chud is our word. Also, Sargon, please arrange an interview with Kirsche. She or he, if you insist, is a VTuber, but she has investigated extensively, and it would be a good interview.
I probably won't do that. Sorry.
Brandon, I'm with Sargon in this. If we had more big dreamers, Mass Effect Andromeda wouldn't have been a reskin of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really argue against the need for innovation in gaming right now.
I'm just saying Peter Molyneux is someone who I think is going to... Like, already, compared to modern games, his games shine, man.
At least they tried to do something.
Yeah, Populous, Dungeon Keeper, Black and White. These were great games. Fable, great games, right? They aren't perfect games. They're games that have problems, obviously, but they're fun. They're different. They do things that other games didn't do, and they pushed boundaries. It's not just sequel after fucking sequel after sequel of the same recycled bullshit.
They dared to do something.
Yeah. Like, I'm so sick of people being cruel to Peter Molyneux. Like, let the man dream.
Cyrene for 5. How does Sargon square Space Marine economy of motion and animation, like the death of hope or the whole personality of the ECWEBABT? These are acronyms for things, I'm sure.
I don't know what those things are.
Me neither, on the top of my head.
So how do I square it? Say it again, sorry.
How does Sargon square Space Marine economy of motion and animations like Death of Hope or the whole personality of the ECWEBABT?
So I'm just going to write this down. ECWABAT was that?
BA and BT, yes. Blood Angels?
I don't know what that means.
BT? Your abbreviations have been too difficult, I'm afraid. So.
Yes. Like, Chav, you got any ideas what I'm supposed to interpret that to mean?
Boog, our resident Mexican, says, did Sargon watch your MLP stream? I hope not. How does he have a favorite pony race? And what does he think about Celestia's government?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I could have answered that one.
the thing is, right, okay, so I'm not actually against My Little Pony, right? I'm actually, I've heard that it was vaguely anti-communist in some ways, so that's good, right? And I'm actually quite liberal with, like, judging people's personal hobbies, right? If there is a thing that you personally get a lot out of, that's totally fine. You know, friendship is magic or whatever the catchphrase is actually something I actually agree with in isolation, right? Despite the fact that you're watching a gay pony thing, right? And I'm, like I said, I'm not actually very judgmental when it comes to you have a personal little hobby that's yours and you enjoy it and you get a lot out of it and it's just something that you know makes your life better, right? Totally fine. I'm just not interested in My Little Pony, and it's the sort of thing that when I was a kid I used to tease my sister for liking. So I don't have any desire to watch it or be interested in it.
And there you go.
I'm not like anti-brony or something. I don't care. It's fine. It's gay if you want my opinion on it, but you have fun.
That's the thing. Like, it is a show that actually teaches values, which is something we don't have today.
Yeah.
And it's probably better than a lot of current entertainment.
Yeah. It's like, I agree with the premise that friendship is genuinely important, and worrying about the quality of your friendships is a genuinely important thing. And I've not been perfect on that at all or anything like that, right? So it's a genuinely important message. It just looks really gay and feminine, and I think you're gay. Right? And that's fine. You can be gay, you can enjoy it. That's totally fine. You don't have to worry about me judging you. Just, I'm not interested.
There you go. Nolly for $10. I asked Arch this, Sargon, but what if Trump just came over to Britain, looked at you through the TV and said, you're an American state now. All of your countries will now treat their people as Americans.
You ignorant
Everyone would
slut.
hate it.
Yeah, see, this is the thing, Americans. We do joke about we would probably be better under America, but our history is like 1,000 times longer than your little recent country.
Yeah. And like a lot of the Americans don't understand how unpopular this kind of imperious talk is. It's not winning you any friends at all. It's actually like the majority of people in Britain, for example, don't like Trump or Elon. And the lack of respect with which you're approaching our countries is not making people warm to you, right? So it's speaking like this will just make more people dislike you, you know. And I personally like Americans, but a lot of people don't. And so it's just be aware that you would actually need to go on a charm offensive if you wanted to make any sort of headway in the Europe and the UK. And you're not going on the charm offensive at the moment.
Johnson Smith. Sargon, I can't believe you just called Europe the old sick man. So you're saying they're the modern day Ottoman Empire?
Well, that's literally Ursula's position.
The Ottoman Empire, too many silly little countries, too many silly little nations to form a unified whole. And an ossified central government.
I can't believe I compared the European Union to that.
Blaze Stone for 5 Canadian. Final super chat today, but having a nap while listening to Botchley and Lord Sargon is a good way to spend the afternoon. It is.
I think so. Definitely worse ways.
Definitely worse ways. Dreyfie. Sargon left for 30 seconds, not talks about wanting to... That was you! I was concerned about that.
Go on, what did they say?
Chat was talking about how they wanted to bang Ursula von der Linde if she was 30 years younger.
Let me see if I can find a young picture of her.
I don't know if I do want that.
To be honest with you, not a bad woman when she was younger.
Oh, there you go.
No, not a bad looking woman. I think she's got like 8 kids or something as well.
I guess the soul leaving the body really does age the physical form.
But she, honestly,
I have
even like
lost.
10 years ago, she's not a bad looking woman. Here's a photo of her from 2008. And it's like, she's nothing wrong with the way she looks. She's just a fucking communist. There's a photo of her from 10 years ago.
Alright, chat, you'll get your wish. That's a lot of stock photo stuff, but I
Yeah,
guess
I
I
know,
see
I
the
know.
point.
Yeah.
Dark Innovator, hail Arch and Sargon. History spirals for humankind. Rome was not brought down by politics, but by barbarian immigrants and those that enabled them.
Service guarantee.
Well, that is
citizenship.
politics.
And those who entrusted Rome's defense in the hands of barbarian auxiliary.
Yeah. But again, that's all politics still.
You ignorant slut.
Elsa Serrano for 20. I predict that in 5 years that Arch will have improved his NTR game so much he will cuck the King of Norway. To be fair, that'd be mean. Sargon will have led a rebellion and overthrown the British government and become the new king.
Great. Now Keir Starmer's definitely going to give me a knock. I'm not planning on overthrowing the British government. He goes, no, Keir, I promise I'm not. Fuck's sake. Shut
Yeah.
up, chat.
Yeah, shut up. Keir actually has a genuine worry for that. He might be listening.
Yeah.
Brandon, Sargon, I have brought peace, safety, and security to my new empire.
Well, I wouldn't call Haiti an empire.
Well, at least the Haitians would be happy.
Well, yeah, they would.
Hmm.
They wouldn't be like, you can't send me back to Haiti. And
Yeah.
Tom Homan's like, he's going.
The governor of Haiti is not like going to do like the Colombian one and call up the airplane. No, you can't bring you there. You're bringing too many murderers back home.
Sorry.
Marksman of 117p. Sargon, hello. Please give my thanks to Michelle for sorting out my Missing Islands issue. Also, Federal Historian has an amazing video creating a general definition of what is fascist by using the question, is the Empire from Star Wars fascist?
No, I wouldn't say the Empire from Star Wars is fascist.
Might need to watch that.
I haven't seen that video, but the Empire from Star Wars is too decentralized. Again, like fascism is for nation states, right? Fascism is a product of the liberal view of a nation state. It isn't a classic empire, right? That's classic empires can't really be fascist because they're just too big. They're too decentralized.
This is a Luxon doppelganger. TTS, text speech price. We're cowards. Should have told
Ignorant
GW to
slut.
piss off.
Yeah, I mean, they should. They really should, and they would have won it. I don't want to say they're cowards because, like, it's easy to talk tough when you don't have lawyers sending you letters.
Yep.
I actually know this, right? You know, and
Harrison's
I've
the
been through it,
question.
so I've got some
Fire is
experience.
the
But if you're
answer.
just some YouTuber, it's like, look, just knock it off, or you're going to court, and you don't know how much money this is going to cost, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. You know, you don't know what the consequence, and it could cost you and it's just going to cost you a lot of money just to contest it, right? So if the guy's making like $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month, well, that's easily what you will spend in lawyers, right? Easily, and that's a very narrow. Like if you get a cheap lawyer who doesn't do that much, that's $3,000 a month, right? So it's easy for us to be like, oh well, you should have fought it. It's a scary fucking thing, man. You know, I had to raise $100K to do it.
Yep.
It's
It is
not
the
cheap.
biggest failure of our legal system is that it is unfathomably expensive to defend yourself even from the most ludicrous of accusation.
Yeah, 100%. Especially as the accusation GW were making was ludicrous. He's not infringing their IP at all. This is so obviously transformative. Like, GW have produced nothing like this, using a method that they would never use in a million years to produce a product. So, like, the very nature of the accusation should have been thrown out of court, and maybe it would have been if it had gone to court. Like, a lawyer could have literally had a motion to dismissal and just go, yeah, this is fucking nonsense, get out, right? It could have happened, but again, it still would have been tens of thousands of pounds.
Mm-hmm. Belial, all our politicians are keeping Cthulhu asleep, so they sacrifice the beautiful people and are now using wokeness to create more sacrifices.
You know what? I was talking about that the other day on my live stream. It's like, it really does seem like British politicians are taken to a dungeon underneath Westminster where they're just shown like the closed sleeping eye of Cthulhu. And they say, look, if we lower taxes, this guy wakes up and kills everyone. So you shut the fuck up. We have to have infinite immigrants. We have to have higher taxes, or else everyone dies and Cthulhu consumes the earth. Do you understand? And then Nigel Farage is like, well, I'm not anti-immigrant on TV. It's like, oh, really? Oh, fucking hell. Jesus, okay, Nige.
Yeah, like, it's... I don't know. It's got to be some kind of like just alternate worldview, but that creates politicians like Ursula von der Leyen, who talks about the compass with its horizontal goddamn pillars.
Well, it's non-Euclidean geometry, you see.
Yes, exactly. Who doubles down on what has already failed and sees nothing objectionable about it whatsoever.
Yeah. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Roblake623. Speaking of the day the GW gutted the fan community, I was there 3,000 years ago. Never forgive, never forget. Cadia stands. Ryan H. My cope as is that the retributors from Astartes are sons of dawn and efficiency defines them. Ultramarines are more calculated risks, somewhat extravagant, especially Lieutenant Titus. There might occasionally be gayer Space Marines. This is also true. Like the Emperor's children, who wish to do their fighting with flourishes. Jay, I'm a fan of the Voidolins as a black guy, as they are basically space Africans and in law called savages and are known to be uncivilized. Or the Celestial Lions and the Orc Snipers. Coroner, don't forget that the Salamanders that are one of the first founding chapters, they are not fond of. That is true. WMC Wolverine for 5. We're not trying to pull an actually here, but I don't think Space Marines being attacked by works wasn't a lamenta in the original teaser. Being attacked by works orcs, I'm presuming, wasn't a lamenta. Yeah. But I don't think Space Marines attacked by orc wasn't a lamenta in the original teaser. Wasn't a lamenta?
I'm shocked that someone would send a super chat and not spell check it.
There's a lot of that, I swear to God.
There's me praising the quality of our audience. And so many of these super chats are unpassable.
Yeah, no, I swear to God, my audience sends me some weird shit where I just have to, read it 3-4 times and try and work out the context here. I think he was. I remember seeing the old one. I'm pretty sure he was a lamenta, but I could be mistaken. Roblake623. They replaced the lamenta with the mortifactors. Well, there you go. The chapter that abandoned them in the face of the Black Crusade. Tasteful, GW.
Slut.
Tasteful. And Counter-Structure has been meant for 20 months. Thank you. There is even humor within the sneaking up to the anti-tank ambush. He fires in the same timing rhyme.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Dreyfus, apparently George Lucas, when he held the reins, was good on giving free animations the go-ahead to use the Star Wars IP. I mean, yeah, wasn't George Lucas said, I have defined the main timeline, that's mine. What other people want to do outside of that is yours.
Which is a pretty sensible way to approach it.
Yeah.
This is the core canon. Go and do something fun.
Yeah, and it spawned loads of really popular spin-offs that further increased the value of the Star Wars franchise. Unterfell, One Thumb Jim says hi. Still don't know what that means. Ben, Hasbro is dying so GW can sell out to them. Why is that flickering?
You ignorant slut.
Hasbro is dying so GW can't sell out. Oh, yes, okay, yes. Yeah, no, Hasbro's not doing particularly well, so...
But there's no reason for GW to sell out to anyone. Because GW's doing brilliantly.
Yeah, not anymore. They were angling for that a few years ago.
Yeah. But at the moment, like, GW is super profitable.
Yep.
So there's no reason for GW to sell out at all.
So Loxon Doppelganger, I've played 2E most of my life. And what a happy life it must have been.
And what an unnecessarily complex thing it is. Again, like, THACO is just such a funny concept. It's like, right, so we're going to base everything around armor class as 0. Well, okay, what's the average armor class? About 4. Like, why? Like, why do most things have 4 armor class then? Why not have that as 0? You know, like, it's so... But it's a great, again, test of intelligence. There's a barrier to entry here, and you don't pass it. Fuck off, normie.
It's clearly a system that was devised at 3 in the morning in a moment of mad lucidity. And after writing it down, nobody decided to change it.
Yeah.
Mass Hysteria for 5. I am not elite. I am a degenerate who's here for the perverted stuff. I'm here for ponies and monster girls. Yeah, you shouldn't
Yeah, but
have
that doesn't
praised
mean you're
them.
not intelligent.
Oh.
Like, the average person is not smart enough to appreciate those things.
Yeah,
Frankly,
you're
I
clever
don't
because
think
you
I
like
am.
ponies, Chip.
Most people are actually not that degenerate. And I think that true degeneracy does require higher than average intelligence. Because, like, the average grug is like, ooh, I've been trained to think that's bad, so I better not do it. And that's sensible, right? Like, if you're grug and you don't know that much about the world, yeah, just follow the instructions. But if you're smart and you think you know more about the world than maybe you actually do, well, you'll probably go for it.
Ben, you mean like how your twisted, intrusive thoughts conjured up Dev aggressively shitting in the woods and then someone else got flying fart gas Dev? Yes. My overactive imagination has caused much fun for chat. Argray. Arch. The replaced character was a custom one inspired by the Lamenters. It wasn't the Lamenters. Specimen original teaser had a white skull and red heart on checkered background. Lamenters have red heart with a drop of blood on checkered background. Only similar look. Chat has told me 3 different competing narratives now with this. Arch has decided that whoever gives the largest super chat is correct, and that's the guy who says it's the Lamenters, so there you go. It's economy, chat. That's all it is. Capitalism. Eric Just. Question. Could you backstab with a ballista in D&D 2.0? And how many points of damage does it do? And does the bard suck or seduce the priestess? These are all valuable questions that will not be answered today, I'm afraid. Blaystone. Arch. I is smart because I think X. Chat. I also thought of X on my own, so I'm also smart. Arch, no chat is dumb because I say so. To Lumicast fun, to humble Archley. Chat, half of the time, is just a horde of competing narratives that occasionally arrive at something halfway lucid. John Smith, the 2 best voices and decent minds in the game. Take my money
Fire is the
to
answer.
do more. Thank you. I will take your money. Krabazk, 420 Polish. This is the type of speech you'd hear in Parliament of a Warsaw Pact country. A lot of filter, declarations of commitment to abstract ideas of actions, pseudo-intellectual metaphors. We used to have movies parodying it, even during communism. Yeah, no. It's appeal to things like the 5-year plan will increase our productivity as we redouble our efforts to make a suitable agricultural environment. None of it really necessarily means much, but sounds good on television.
Again, it does feel very fucking Soviet, doesn't it?
Tunushi till Honhola. Hohonhola. I have no idea. Ben, British still eat like they're still fighting World War II.
Well, we don't have run-through pallets, so we don't need to eat like excessive extravagant food to enjoy our food. Arch will understand. It's a Protestant thing.
Yeah. The Americans have pretty much ruined all sense of taste they once had.
Yeah. I mean, have you seen like American cooking videos where literally it's like, I have a burger and now I'm going to put on 55 layers of cheese and, tons of this, tons of that, tons of the other. I'm going to smother it in weird sauce. It's like, Jesus Christ, this looks disgusting and there's something wrong with you. This is not food. This is an assault on the senses. Calm the fuck down.
It's... See, so there's some of it that's good, like macaroni and cheese, a classic. Sure. Just two simple flavors mixed together. Great. Sprinkle in some sausages if you want to be sassy about it.
Ooh,
it's quite tasty.
Yeah.
It's a little heavy on the stomach, but. And then you have the crazy stuff where they just start slathering things on things. You have like a piece of chicken buried beneath 15 layers of different fruits, vegetables, cream, salts, spices.
Yeah, the total lack of finesse when it comes to mixing and matching flavors as well is just like, what are you doing, Americans? There's no delicacy with it.
They're a shameful race.
Yeah.
Lurker. Anyway. New monster manual just got released. They removed humanoid types from most enemies. They are no longer human and should not be interpreted as human. Yeah, but that's not what humanoid means.
Correct.
Humanoid just means that it's got, general human features, as in 2 arms and a leg and a head.
I think most humanoids have 2 legs.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are right.
It's just a human form. It's not. I don't fucking Dungeons and Dragons who even cares anymore. Threadnought. The more the government makes up new laws, the more I think these 3 girls were sacrificed in a false flag operation to justify overreach. What was that in reference to?
Southport.
Ah.
I don't think that's what they were planning or anything. I think this is just an inevitable consequence of the things that they do.
Then again, Alex Jones has released a lot of weird footage of strange people in the forest with helmets. Usually with horns and torches. Mark H. I watched all seasons of Person of Interest and watching Blacklist, both of them in the mid-2010s, so much better than anything today. True. Voiton. Britain is forever cursed to live in the Narwhal Horn timeline.
Well, I mean, that was pretty badass, really. So for anyone who doesn't know what the narwhal horn reference is, on the London Bridge attack, the guy was restrained by a dude with a narwhal horn and then a guy with a fucking fire extinguisher.
Oh god, I remember that.
Yeah, it was pretty epic, to be honest. Like, that's actually quite cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's bad.
You ignorant slut.
Harmonic Drive. German activists protesting anti-illegal immigration law because the AfD helped pass them. Kid died on hands of illegal, but we can't allow fascism to rise.
The AfD are a liberal party. They're not fascist.
Well, I am so sick of that too. Every time there is some heinous crime committed by an immigrant, the answer is, oh, but we gotta beware of fascism. Listen. If you didn't like this is Weimar Germany, right? If you didn't do so many things that made the fascists look good, we wouldn't have to have this problem.
But the AfD are not a fascist party. Right? Just full stop. That's just end of story. I've met them. I've given speeches in the Bundestag or whatever it's called for them. Right? They are not a fascist party. It's just not true. It's
ignorant
the same like
slut.
Nigel Farage. Like, oh, it's fascism and reform. No, they're not fascist. There are fascists. AFD and reform are basically just nationalist liberals. That's it.
All things that are not liberal are fascist.
No, but they are liberal. That's the
Not the
thing.
correct
They are
type, though.
liberal parties.
I have lost.
Brandon, this is the same argument that banning guns makes suicides go down. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, it's totally true.
Well, they tried that in the well, not gun with, but with assisted unaliving in Canada, and suicides remained exactly the same. They were just killing more people medically now.
Yeah, now it's just the state killing you.
Frog Jupiter, any jumping with over 2 attackers is lethal. That's true. You don't want to leave the ground, generally speaking, in a fight.
Yes.
Another Texan poll. The bureaucracy is expanding to accommodate the needs of the expanding bureaucracy.
I mean that. What? Oh God! It's just the whole thing is just so perfect, though. It's so perfect. Sorry, I won't go on. I just enjoyed it.
It literally is true, though. Like,
yeah,
the government grows forever because the government constantly takes on itself new tasks.
Yeah.
Brandon, I would prefer the USSR, honestly. They were at least intimidating. The EU is just gay and annoying.
Well, it's also oppressive, just in a very feminine, bureaucratic way. It's not even cool oppression, right?
Reverend Norse, at least the royals are raised to rule and tied to the land, unlike the globalist bureaucrats. I take the former over the latter any day of the week.
Our royals are globalist bureaucrats.
Yeah, that's the problem. When they become them.
Yeah, King Charles is a globalist.
LCPL anime guy, why are they buying from Russia? That's insane. I thought they were the ones yelling at us to pay for the war. No wonder they won't let Ukraine win.
Yeah.
No, it is true. Germany pays for a lot of the Russian economy.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Russia has 0 skills but tons of resources, right? So Europe has very few resources but apparently loads of bureaucratic skills. You can see why they would do business, right? But the problem is the Russians are not liberal. And the Europeans are 100% bought into the religion of liberalism. And this is what the problem is. This is how they find themselves coming unstuck.
Boog did Nico Night Eye. For 20 years, Germany specifically tried to destroy the French nuclear energy sector using EU rules and directives. They almost succeeded.
Yeah, but instead they ended up just closing their own. Genius.
God, I'm glad they failed. Like, the energy crisis is already bad. Imagine it without France.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like the French must again, French selfishness, genuinely something to behold, but does actually have a good reason. Like it works, right?
LCPL anime guy, and Europeans wonder why we hate them so much.
Yeah.
Jeffrey D, Germany has a critical officer shortage, for your information.
Probably.
I mean, Germany doesn't even have a military. Did you know, in the German
ignorant
Bundeswehr, their militia, the officers are required by law to ignore any order that they find immoral.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm sure that does nothing but wonders for their command structure.
Absolutely, because, of course, what is and is not immoral is a bit of a broad thing.
Well, it's pretty flexible, yeah. But
Yeah.
imagine, like, literally, I order you to disobey orders. Oh, fucking great.
Well, it's literally, you have a situation where somebody is getting shot at from a hut, and they're like, please, you gotta bomb this hut. And you're like, it could be a civilian in there. Like, motherfucker, they're shooting us.
Yeah, but I'm morally bound to disobey orders I disagree with. In fact, I'm not just morally bound. I'm legally bound. This is my duty to disobey your order.
I'm sorry, I can't bomb that building. I don't agree with it.
It's preposterous.
Glowy, okay, I hear you, Sargon and Arch, about all this imperialism talk, but counterpoint, the French and Sweden. The French are a handful at any given time, and Arch, are you saying Sweden won't approve if Trump took over it? Besides, we're better than Belgium. I don't think anything could improve Sweden. The poison is in the soil in that case. Dark Resurrect. Euros laugh and judged Americans until the shells start flying. Then they get real buddy-buddy to the US. Need a good reminding why they get free healthcare. Why they get free healthcare?
Because they don't spend their money on the military.
I mean, sorta, but Britain started that a while before that again.
Yeah, but we had a massive global empire that made us incredibly wealthy. Most countries didn't have that.
Nolly, I asked Arch this Sargon. Oh, no, not that one. Ben, reject Old West, embrace Anglo-American futurism.
Well, I mean, at least it's going to be where the money is.
The future can still be Art Deco, chat. It's not too late.
I mean, it's not a terrible future. Like, at least it looks nice.
Yeah. Yeah, you've seen those old pictures of America, right? Like in the 60s and 50s, when they were actually making Art Deco stuff, and it looks beautiful.
Oh, no, that's like the 20s and 30s.
Is it?
Yeah, it's older than that. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, because they had... It literally looked like fucking Gotham, with all kinds of cool-ass statues all over the place and stuff.
Yeah. It was very nice. It was a nice, authentic, homegrown American style, too. Don't know why they stopped, frankly. I'm sure there's a good reason, but I don't know what it is.
Fell out of fashion, I guess.
I'm going to guess that the Democrats stopped it.
Instead, we decided to start embracing, brutalism, basically. Every house is just a square now.
I hate it so much.
Plastic, concrete, and glass. Oh, boy.
Oh, God, I hate it.
Exciting. Kittens
Everything should be made out of stone.
By referencing lower inequality, she accidentally, I'm presuming, touches on a reason why Europe is not innovating: overtaxation and regulation. Yep. Johnson Smith, Sargon, I can't believe you just call Europe the old sick man. I don't know. I need to remember marking these. Niotsu, why is she speaking English? Maybe subtitles? It didn't have subtitles, I did check. Blaze Stones, we can't listen to you. You're evil, and you're saying the blunt truth. When he says it nicely and makes us feel good. Rather the lie than the truth. Marked ashamed. European Union needs an army. Just take North Atlantic Treaty Organization and remove US, UK, and Canada. Heavily censored by YouTube. Brandon, you're describing the EU bureaucracy as making me have flashbacks to the Soviet bureaucracy.
Yeah. It is insanely Soviet.
Johnson Smith. The only reason the French military is looked down on in the West in modern days is World War II, and the Prussians before that, they were the terror. Yeah, no. Again, any serious military conversation in like pre the 1900s was done in French.
And just it's not like the French didn't fight; they were just defeated.
Well, in the Prussian War, they were defeated simply by the Prussians having way better commanders and way better understanding of modern maneuver warfare in general. I recently read a book on it. Basically, the French were behind the times, and they didn't have enough artillery and not enough leadership. World War I, the French were almost beaten on much the same thing, relying too heavily on the idea of elan. They still hadn't learned their lessons. But this time, of course, Germany was also fighting Russia and England at the same time, too. And in World War II, same problem. The French had simply just forgotten their military paradoxes. They were existing in the last previous war, which was not that different from the war before that and the war before that. France has had a big problem with military innovation for a very long time. How about the last 100 years or so?
But again, it's always managed to field huge numbers of men.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the bravery of the average French soldier really can't be contested.
Oh, yeah, like, that's the thing, too. The elan, the offensive spirit of the French soldier was always the thing that was revered. His willingness to march headfirst into a hail of bullets to attack the enemy.
Yeah, crazy brave people.
Why are you hating? How much trees were sacrificed for that report?
You ignorant slut.
Well,
Sacrifice
luckily.
for what, sorry?
How many trees were sacrificed for the report?
Oh, God, I mean, fucking who knows?
I don't want to think about how much paper the European Union goes through in a year.
Yeah.
Brandon, in response to your response, you have breath here, and no shame apparently. Need to find me a girl that loves me as much as Arch loves himself. I will never feel unloved, or I'll be locked in a basement. The adult fetish of the year 2024 is having a girl who likes them. I will repeat this ad infinitum. Unironically, like, all of the, like, romance mangas that I've come across is basically just a girl who likes a guy. And it's like, that's the height of this peak fantasy now.
Well, this is like, I don't watch anime, but every time I see anime in my timeline, it's always some girl who's really aggressively pursuing some nerdy guy.
Yeah.
And it's just like, really, you just want to be loved.
Yes. Like, that is the male fetish of the current year. Do we have a girl like you?
Yeah.
It seems so simple and yet so unachievable, I guess.
It's not that unachievable, lads. Trust me. If I can get married, anyone can.
Matthew Hammond, let me get this right. Europe wants US investment while at the same time puts burdensome censorship on US tech companies over recent EU regulation. Of course. They're regulating you for your own good, I'm sure. Sajad, Trump should rightfully feck the EU. We need a wake-up call. We waste obscene amounts of money on social services for foreigners who don't contribute. Yes. Too many social services. Too many gibs. Mercenaries anyone? Arch, we understand here in the US, they want to bring worse than what they're dealing with over there. Here. There are people here who want 10 times what you're dealing with. Think about that. I don't think you understand. 10 times what we're dealing with. This is a point I've often tried to impress upon Americans. The idea of having taxes on taxes, like paying 3 taxes on a house that you own.
Oh, I hate it so much.
Like in Norway, you have a wealth tax, so you tax on all of your property. That's the first
Got
tax.
money, do you?
Yep.
Oh, guilty! Give me that money.
Then they have a property tax on your house, so they tax your house again. So they tax
Earn
you on
something,
what
do you? Give me the state share.
Exactly.
Honestly, I hate it so much.
And in certain cases, they even tax you for the right to own that property.
Want to own something, do you? Ka-ching.
And then, of course, there's the income tax.
Earned some money today, did we? Hand it over. It's so much. I just can't get over it. I just can't get over it.
Sometimes, the best thing we have, there's property tax and then there's building tax. So you pay the tax on the property and then you pay the tax on the house on top of the property. Vanta Black. We didn't even scratch the surface with AI.
Service
No,
guarantees
no.
citizenship.
Matthew Hammond, Europe should pay their fair share on medical devices and prescription drugs and not threaten to steal patents by compulsory licensing to get a low price.
Well, that's an interesting point. Europe doesn't invent drugs and things, the American private sector does.
Because it turns out that for people to wish to innovate, you do actually need to make it profitable.
Yeah. Not that the European Union would know.
Jafar the Blade, the fact that if given the chance, your countries would take the eastern states and your people would say nothing in opposition as you gun down Americans refusing to give up their guns, show that this is just, it's okay when we do it. Take the eastern states as you gun down America.
I don't think Europeans are going to be gunning down Americans anytime soon, man.
Not yet.
I really wouldn't worry about that. There are so many other problems that we have first.
Beardmaster, when you have a mindset of a hammer, every problem is a nail to be smashed.
Yeah.
Frog Jupiter.
When you have the mindset of a bureaucrat, everything is an issue to be regulated.
Yep. We can solve this problem with paper.
Yeah. We need an omnibus bill. It's the only way to get around this problem. So, fuck you.
Frog Jupiter. What I don't get about the EU is with all the regulations, they still haven't banned seed oils for human consumption in the food supply.
Wow, good point.
We actually have in Norway, and I've never looked into it, why seed oil is apparently bad for you. I just assume the government knows.
I've just been totally radicalized by online propaganda against seed oils. Right, so I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I've never looked into it. I just assume it's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, I want to believe the propaganda. It feels right and persuasive. Yeah, probably, like these things do feel kind of icky and gross. Therefore, that's probably true.
Reverend Norse, an interesting book was recently published in Sweden about how the government and state has changed in nature since women became the majority officials. I see the EU as a similar problem at the top. Yes, making all of our controlling institutions and nations into, well, I have blanked on the word for woman rule now.
Matriarchy.
Matriarchy, thank you. Matriarchies was probably not a good idea.
Yeah, no, terrible.
Slocks on Doppelganger, you need to revolt against the EU. We're too fat and happy to revolt.
Yeah. Well, the British aren't. Ha ha ha.
We'll see if Starmer serves his full term.
Well, yeah, okay, shut the fuck up. Starmer might drag us back in. It's like, Starmer, they're saying that we were right. They're saying we were right, Starmer. Fucking useless.
Sinestro Corman, European leaders are determined to make the 19th century their peak, aren't they? Yes.
Simultaneously, yes.
Gunfox for $30. Thank you. Smack the Kibs, beat the Kibs. Art, how is the weather in the Greater Sweden? Some of the American food is heavy, sigh overdone, but UK or Swedes should not complain about American food when you don't even know how to use spices.
We do. We just use them properly.
Sparingly, effectively.
Yeah.
MW Balls. Just to clarify, some states do not have state income tax. In all states, you still pay federal tax. That's true. Although, Trump was going to war on the income tax too. I swear to Jesus, if Trump manages to abolish federal income tax by law, I'm moving to America. That's it. Fuck it.
God, can you imagine? I don't want to move to America, but like, if it's like literally you just pay tax on the things you buy when you buy them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hell, keep the 25% purchase tax. I'll fucking swallow that pill. Happily.
Yeah, I'll eat it. Fuck me, man. That'd be amazing.
Because then at least it's like, okay, if I want to buy something, then I have money that I'm then going to put into the common system. Fair enough. But income tax is a scourge.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Alex Roberts, how do we address the damage that porn does to society versus the risk of censorship? How do we determine if something excessive, and what is good female form? Hard question. There has to be a good answer. I would simply lean on the innate sense of disgust, honestly, that humans have. Generally speaking, if something goes too far, we know it goes too far, because most people will look at it and go, oh, Jesus, no. And if it doesn't trigger that in the majority of us, then it's probably fine. Or at the very least, defendable enough to be allowed to be aired on the side of anti-censorship. Because remember, like there's a lot of wiggle room there. A lot of men might look at literal rape fetishes and go, Jesus, Whilst a lot of women will look at that and go, yes. Michael 11, whatever will happen to that money when EU implodes? It'll disappear for all eternity.
Yeah, well, it's being burned up, right? Like Milton Friedman was just spot on this.
I have lost.
All state interaction with money is just burning money. It's burning productivity. You're just destroying wealth by employing the state to be involved in it.
Mercedes anyone. When they say decarbonize, I hear house switch. That's true. One of the largest sources of carbon on Earth is breeding, after all. Michael 11, the cathedral must eat citizens. Second pillar. State-mandated cannibalism to cut down on carbon. Sujad, the Nazis at least understood enough to let the companies largely manage themselves. Yes. It was just the threat of state intervention. Reverend Norse, Swexit create a Nordic federation. I don't know if we want to be bound to the Swedes quite that closely. Michael 11, Ursula Wonder Crazy uses Annalena 360 greater than 720 math. I don't even know what that is. Vanta Black, Brexit's been hindered, but this gives Brexit ammo.
It does.
A great justification. I can literally point to her and go like, no, listen, she's admitted everything.
Yeah, I agree with Ursula von der Leyen. The European Union is fucking terrible, and we should get out of it as quickly as possible.
Insane linguist. Reminder that the anti-nuclear green parties have historically been funded by the Kremlin to make Europe energy dependent on Russian energy. And we made it so easy.
Yeah, and we bought into it so fucking easily.
Mercenaries anyone, when they said net zero carbon, they were talking about us. Mario Trujillo, oh Arch, you underestimate people's stupidity. Yes, they really can be this stupid. Evidently. Dreyfy, I really do wonder what percent of the environmentalists, organ movements here in Canada and the rest of the West are funded by our geopolitical opponents. Most of this much.
Yeah, a lot, I bet.
I mean, this... China and TikTok is this to a T. China looks at TikTok, bans it in China, and then pushes it to America going, here, have this. That tells you all you need to know. Like, we would never expose our citizens to this, but yours. Vanta Black, foreign aid benefits the leaders, not the people. Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is something you learn the moment you start playing a game like Tropico with slush funds. See, when a foreign aid fund is created, it's not just the money that goes out of the country, but that pays dozens of bureaucrats who rubber stamps it, who champions it through Congress, who reads through it, who approves it, who gets everything going, who has the money transferred into their NGO, etc. The amount of palms greased by foreign aid is truly disturbing. Yeah. And it's not even corruption, because it's technically, we need these stamps. Sargon, you must understand, we require this ribbon on the omnibus.
I hate everything about all of this.
Dreyfy, foreign aid isn't charity, but a lot of people seem to see it that way. People who cares about something, this cause or that cause, can choose to contribute to it personally. Absolutely. I mean, I would even love, let's say you're going to pay taxes anyway, have there be a bracket that is like, I consent to having a percentage of my taxes used for foreign aid. Boog, back in 2006, President Caldero declared total war on cartels. He was slowly winning, but then Obama Fast and Furious happened and the cartels won. Thanks, Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, Mexico fought and lost a war with the cartels, and some pessimists estimate that half the Mexican government is either paid off or is in the cartels.
I don't even know if that's pessimism. I think that's probably obviously true.
Or optimistic, in fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, considering how much money the cartels... And again, you saw the pile of weapons. There is no... like, look at the Middle Ages and how they were handling swords and spears. It was impossible to do a revolt because nobody could own something as relatively simple as a sword. And yet the cartels are able to stockpile huge quantities of assault rifles, are they? Obviously someone is working with them.
Yeah.
You ignorant slut.
MW Balls. The Orc gun is not a homemade 50 cal sniper, it's a rusty tube that fits 50 BMG rounds that may or not explode when fired. As the barrel length is way too small, losing most of the 50's potential power. That is true, but they're cartel people, not gunsmiths. Yet. McWall 11, no, you wonder crazy, don't throw us under omnibus. The 37 billion will be reinvested to bureaucracy AI. Oh, brilliant. Hey, Mr. Robot, please, we need some new regulations. Well, we haven't regulated the color of orange peel yet. Do it.
They did regulate the bend on a banana.
Yep, both the bend and the length of bananas are regulated.
Yeah. Fucking amazing. It's just like it's people who literally have nothing else to do. Like their entire job is just regulate stuff all day, every day. They wake up and they regulate, and it's like, wow, I can't believe Europe's drowning regulations. Oh yeah, who could have imagined?
Sajad, in 2016, the EU lost 990 billion to corruption. Billion. News article, corruption costs EU up to 919 billion a year. Let me Google that.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, from Politico. Corruption costs EU up to 990 billion a year.
People forget that Eastern Europe is also in the EU.
Yep.
I'm not even joking when I say that.
A man wearing a pig mask holds a placard reading Romanian political class. Yeah. Turns out bureaucracy is not the solution to rampant Romanian corruption.
Yeah. I mean, V goes on about it all the time.
So, Lux and Doppelganger, EU people have one way to remove them. Guess how? Death? By old age, of course, YouTube. Calm down.
Yeah.
MacWall 11, Compass from Pirate Olaf Schultz of the Caribbean. Why you hating? The EU is the real-life 40k administratum. It sure does look like it.
Honestly, it is. It is.
Tucker O'Donnell, today I was reminded I don't hate the US Senate Committee on Intelligence enough. They sound like EU tin pot despots. Next anyone, I am in Vosh, not Destiny, during the MLP Smasher Pass, but at this point, Vosh or Destiny are practically the same thing. I meant Vosh. Sorry, still fighting autocorrect. I don't... Vosh? Vosh? Vosh?
What was Vosh doing these days? I haven't heard anything from him in ages.
I don't know. I think he's doing well because he's the only remaining left-wing commentator that hasn't actively shat the bed for a while.
That is weird, isn't it? Of all the people.
I mean, in Vosh's credit, Vosh had him downloading pictures of lollies eating horse ass, and he survived that.
Yeah, I mean, his videos are getting 60 to 80k. Like a couple of them get 100k. That's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
For someone who's been through things that he's been through, some of them have got 200k. So Watch is doing pretty well, actually.
Yeah. Again, the man showed a folder of little anime girls eating horse ass, and he's still doing well. You gotta give it to him. That is something. That is an achievement.
Yeah. Fair play to Vosh, honestly.
Frog Jupiter, Sargon, have you heard about the recent Destiny, I'm presuming.
That's what they mean. Yeah.
Allegations? Also, have you heard about Vosh taking the gecko pill.
I don't know what the gecko pill is.
I'll spare you that one. But yeah, Destiny apparently was leaking nudes.
I did hear about that.
David the Red, if we care about what others thought of us, we wouldn't be Americans. Also, modern America is what Britain used to be in the 1600s. Dynamic, armed, and fighty.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. America crystallized the attitude of the English at the time, whereas the English didn't and continued to become essentially Europeanized.
Dreyfy, an arch wants to bang to communism out of her, apparently. To be fair, I don't think any amount of penis can save Ursula. My vertical pillars lined. Horizontal, actually. Vertical pillars would make sense, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like I said, how many children has Ursula? She's got loads.
7. I looked it up. 7 kids.
Yeah. So, and like I said, she was a fine-looking woman when she was younger. So, you know, someone took advantage.
Pyman, why would we respect you if you don't respect yourselves? That is the start. Yep.
Yeah. Good question.
Warboss Doom, American here. The feeling is mutual, but can't go and say Europe being under US control will lose the US favorability when you go and say, oh, the US is inferior and culturally inept.
I don't think I've said the US is inferior.
It is, however, historically inferior. That's the thing. America wouldn't want to give up its sovereignty, nor would Europe wish to give up its. We have a lot of history of our own, even if we've been fucking up as of late.
Yeah.
Ben, GW made orc snipers an actual thing now.
Why?
Based.
What? Why would they make orc snipers?
I'm not sure. But there's the meme of the Celestial Alliance was a chapter that had been going against the Inquisition, and they were pinned down in a valley when they took extraordinarily accurate orc sniper fire. So maybe GW's leaning into the meme, I guess.
Okay.
Gourds 001. It's really weird that there are literally no serious functional engineers that support net zero. Well, it's because net zero is probably just not doable, frankly. Nolly, so if we need to take advantage of our vassal states and said countries hate us and won't work with us, but give our enemies a friendly glance, clearly Mr. Nice Guy won't be respected enough. Oh, well, literally, no, that is part of it, though. Because Trump, at the very least, has the respect, as in fear, of Europe.
Oh, yeah.
You know you can't screw him like you could a lot of American presidents.
Yeah, he's not going to take your shit.
Yes. Finn Khan, ending the gangs is the easy part. Keeping them from rising again is the challenge. See Pablo Escobar. Also, Boog isn't the only Mexican here. Well, you need to market yourself more effectively as a Mexican. What can I say? Mr. Frenzy, do we consider things like shepherd's pie, lasagna, or pizza slop? Shepherd's pie, sort of, when you get through the crust. Lasagna, a little bit, but pizza, definitely not.
Well, no, they're not slop, because the things are differentiated, right? Like with lasagna, you have layers of pasta, layers of mince and sauce, and then cheese on top. With shepherd's pie, you've got the layer of mince, you've got the layer of mash, and then gravy or whatever, right? These are differentiated things. Slop is a homogeneous goop. So, like, you know, the giant cauldron of God knows what's in it, and then it's just scooped out with no care. It doesn't matter in what order. Like, it would matter if you cut a shepherd's pie wrong, right? Like, you cut in, you know, a square of shepherd's pie. You can't halve it and then take the top half of the shepherd's pie and have a shepherd's pie. You just have mashed potato, right? It doesn't, because there's a differentiation between the ingredients.
Ignorant slut.
But the goop, the slop, is just, I'll get just a bucketful, slap it down. There we go. It's exactly the same as every other fucking bucketful.
That's true. There's no structure to slop.
Yeah, none at all.
Father Jack the Enlightened, you're one to talk with beans and bread, Sargon. Yeah, but that is at least separated, the bread and beans.
Yeah, I mean, thing is, I don't even eat beans on toast. Really, it's not that there's anything wrong with beans on toast. It's just I don't really eat it. And if you're gonna do beans on toast, you want to melt some cheese on top of it as well. But it's just good as well. It tastes good. I just don't tend to make it just out of convenience, really.
Ben, you described French cuisine. You hate French, Sargon.
Well,
Love French.
Sure, but still.
David the Red, I refer to us not caring about other sinks. We also apply this to food. Ice cream cake is good. Fried chicken and waffle sandwiches are great. We have ice cream cakes too. Fried chicken and waffle. I don't know about that. That sounds a little bit weird. Rubberleg63, Sargon, you should touch base with Tick History, fellow British man who used to be a moderate socialist and now has a burning hatred of communism.
I've tried to, but he doesn't like doing live stuff. So, you know.
Fair enough. Angel of Escarton. Chat. Binks. Ooh, money. I love you, Sargon. Jin, are you... Is this one of those things where you're supposed to, like, do the moves like the NPCs?
I have no idea.
What? I'm not sure. It's a string of largely unrelated words, I think. Kitten, super chat. At least on the phone, the app has terrible word autocomplete that doesn't even give you the chance to select words it thinks you want. Just automatically fills it in and moves your cursor. Good. Maybe. Robleg63, the government cracked before the French army did in World War II. Well, I mean, yes, but by that reason, you'd have to fight to the last Frenchman.
I'm prepared to make that sacrifice.
True, but France isn't.
The French government aren't, anyway.
Mercenaries anyone? Arch, I live in California. They want worse and more. That's good, but you live in California. You should move. That Reeve guy, remember, Sargon, being married and being loved is not necessarily mutually inclusive.
True.
Long string of vaguely Czech-sounding letters. Hate the anti-moral decision to weld on bottle caps. Oh, God, yes. The fact that you can't remove the cap of the bottle anymore.
I mean, this is just the worst EU innovation.
It's just such petty tyranny. No, you can't be trusted to remove the cap of the bottle.
You can't be trusted to put it back. Fuck you.
That's so weird. Walking corpse. Income tax is a scam to launder money through the government. No, income tax is a scam to build larger armies, and then we turned it into a scam to launder money. Bob Boring Name. Arch, have you exposed Sargon to your Fujoshis yet? No. And thank God for that.
No. I don't know what that means. I don't want to know.
It's good. It's... Women, Sargon. Women were a mistake. Ben, the Soviets funded anti-war movement for Vietnam. Of course. Bob, Sargon needs the Fujoshi trauma. And I wish EU would just break up and go full Balkans. We can reverse colonize for global security, of course. Bob Name, just think Buckingham Walmart. Buckingham Walmart. See, Europe doesn't even balkanize, we nationalize. It's the slight difference. And finally, that is everything.
Uh-huh.
God, the Superchats alone are like an hour and a half. I should not complain, and I will not complain. But, chat, donate less but larger sums, please.
That's a good philosophy.
I still remember the bright-eyed, bushy-tails ideals of 3 episodes ago. Yes, these will be 2 hour long. It's nice and snippy.
Yeah, well, next week will be 2 hour long. So, I mean, I'll have to run anyway if you've got a soldier on bravely.
Brave
which everyone
indeed.
appreciates, of course. So, all right. Well, this has been fun, and I think this is a good video to go through this week. To be honest, I thought it was really
Yes. Great video.
good. Yeah. All right. I will see you all later, folks.
I'll see ya. And Thompson sneaks in at the end. There is Mel Thompson. Seek freedom the American way by owning cannons. Matthew Hammond, did you hear that the Secretary of State of California approved a succession ballot measure for 2028? Succession ballot measure. What even is that? Oh, secession. Secession ballot. Why the fuck not? I think the Right, that's enough California for today, I think. That's plenty of California to today. Yes, like I was going to say, I don't think America will object to California seceding. That sounds like it's going to be fine, frankly. Until next time, chat. Thank you all very much for watching. Thank you for your super generous donation, you little shit, Bob.
Fire is the answer.
A boring name. Oh God, what is that monster? That is a Californian. And we don't call them monsters here. We call them people of innovative appearances, like proper human beings do. Until next time, chat. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for your generous donations. Thank you for watching Arch and Sargon. And start spreading the word of Stamford Bridge, okay? Stamford Bridge, chat. Spread it now. Have a good night.